And welcome everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Wouter Bik. I am joined here by the always amazing and my good friend, GM Roland Pruisers. Roland, say hi to the crowd.
Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to a long day and a good day of chess today. So yeah, welcome Big to
Thank you,
this
thank you, thank
episode,
you.
yeah, of course. Hopefully, we're gonna have a lot of fun today.
Absolutely. You know me, always spitting jokes where we can. And I'm going to have a great time today. Now, if you are new here, ladies and gentlemen, if you are wondering, what are we going to do here? What is the Online Olympiad? I'm going to tell you, obviously. The Online Olympiad exists out of 5 divisions. Today, we have Division 3 with teams like Denmark, Portugal, Bolivia, Albania, Costa Rica. It will be filled with action. These are the times that, these are the Olympics, chat. This is the Olympics that we have going through today and tomorrow. All weekend, actually. So I hope here that you can here to, support your teams and to find out if it is going to be the one. Let's have a quick look on what the Olympiad actually is. Like I said, it's a truly worldwide event. 163 teams of 1,500 players will be playing in these months. We have 2 open boards, 2 women's boards, 1 junior male and 1 junior female. This way we can actually get all the talent out in one game. There were teams with the pools. Maybe I can show the teams and the pools real quick for all you beautiful individuals right now. I don't have that right now, but we will get there when I have it. Yeah, it's going to be good, chat. It's going to be amazing. And I'm actually very excited. Is there a particular matchup that you're excited for today, Roland?
Yeah, well, of course, we'll have to see the pairings first, and I hope that we can show that actually. Yeah, but of course, there are a lot of teams today start playing. Actually, I want to talk a little bit about Pool D because Pool D is we're going to see that later, chat. We are going to start with Pool A and Pool B this morning. But Pool D is actually considered to me the dev pool, basically.
Ooh.
A lot of good teams participating in that pool. So I'm very excited to see how that will go. For example, in Pool D, you have countries like Denmark, you've got Chile, you've got Bolivia, you've got Uruguay.
Yep.
So that's going to be an action-packed pool.
Absolutely. For now, we have Pool A with Singapore, Ireland, Syria, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Albania, New Zealand, South Korea, Japan, and Monaco. And I have been told that the games have started. So I will not deprive you from the chess, ladies and gentlemen. I will actually start off with the chess in just a second.
All right.
Let me throw in this one. And we should be good to go. All right, let's kick it off. Round 1, number A. Let's start off with the games. I have a bunch here. I'm going to scroll through him just a little bit to see. Is there a name that you recognize that you would like to see?
Well, actually, we've got already a pretty significant matchup today because we've got Singapore versus Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that will be a bit tough for you, Vic, because those flags look exactly the same.
Yeah, the cherry pick him. I'm making it really easy for me here, buddy.
Yeah. But these 2 countries are actually 2 of the favorites in the Pool A. They have got a very high average rating with the teams. And yeah, I considered those 2 to be actually the number 1 and 2 rating favorites in this pool. So I hope that we can focus on that match today. So yeah. Of course, there are also other matches that we are going to check and keep you updated on. But yeah, that would be a really nice match to see and to focus on. So
perfect. All right.
We can find those games. Give us a second for that because we've got a lot of games to go through. So we need
30 actually. I have the first one. We have Pierre Villegas versus Jingzhao Tin from Monaco versus, like you said, Monaco versus our good friends Singapore. You can see the board, Roland. I'm not messing anything up. We're going strong here.
I can see the board.
Absolutely. So this seems like a very I'm not going to say a dull opening. I think white has a very nice opening, actually. Dark square bishops are traded, but the e5 square seems very strong for the knights. How do you feel about that?
I think it's more or less okay for black too. I think white might be slightly better because of the development. White is already a bit more developed in this position, but it should not be too much. Black doesn't have any clear weaknesses at the moment, and white should not have any clear breakthrough for the time being. So I think that black is more or less fine in this position, but black is also more or less fine, and white should be maybe slightly better here. That's how I feel.
So when I see these kind of positions, and my good friend Roland has told me that you need to own the center. Is that correct? You need to own these 4 squares. That's what you like to own, in chess generally to win. So
in general, of course, those 4 squares are the most important squares in the chess game. Well, in this position, it's more or less balanced. Both players have got squares in the center. White is eyeing the e5 square, like you said. A knight could jump there eventually. And the e4 square is also more or less on white's control. Yeah, and that's what I meant actually with the slight developmental lead for white. And one thing that strikes me is the pawn on a6. It seems to be a kind of a useless move, but I guess that's some sort of opening theory.
Yeah, let's go through the opening real quick. Seems like a Queen's Gambit declined with a6 on the on the third move there. That's
it has got its own merit, but in this structure, the pawn on a6 is a bit useless because, well, eventually you're gonna probably play the pawn to a5 to stop any minority attack from white.
Exactly.
But yeah, the reason why I pointed out at a6 is that black could have instead, for example, have a knight on e7, and that would make development a bit better for black.
I agree. Fully agree. All right, this seems like a very... Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's not a big difference. I think that that black is absolutely fine. It's no weaknesses in the position, like I said, and yeah, we'll see. This is going to be a positional game.
Absolutely. Let's see the top 4 boards of Monaco. How do you feel about that? You want to see?
Sounds good.
Because I have board number 2, which is actually this is board number 1. It's just shown as number 2. It's Grandmaster Igor Efimov versus Xiangjiu Liu. Help me out here, Roland.
Yeah.
How are we doing? White looks very well developed.
Oh my god, this looks weird.
Okay, so we're in the clear.
Okay, so let me first talk a little bit about the players. So Igor Efimov is actually the first Grandmaster in this event that we are seeing online.
Ooh.
And in this event, so the first Grandmaster, well, to participate. And actually, I think he's also the only Grandmaster in this pool, and that's why Monaco is one of the favorites to in this pool to advance to the next division.
It's always a free point, right? If you can trust on your board 1.
Yeah, but of course he's playing against the international master, and international masters are also not too shabby, obviously. So yeah, but having a GM in the team also makes things a lot. Gives your team a lot of prospects, of course, like this. Okay, about the position, white is a lot better, more development. Look at black's pieces on the queen side, a rook on a8, a knight on b8, a bishop on c8. It's looking like all white needs to do is to open up the position just break through some.
Yeah, I'm so confused. What if he just trades here and then go like rook c1 to like get into this side of the board?
Yeah, get in there. I was even considering e4 just to try and
e4, like right now?
Or first take e5 actually.
Then e4. Ooh, that also looks very juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble, one could say. But, doesn't matter. They can always bounce back, and it ain't over till my ex-girlfriend sings. It's an expression. Did you know that, Roland?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, yeah, let's not talk about it. Let's go to board 3. I'm gonna zoom through these. We have Women Grandmaster Xiangyu Gong versus Tatiana Dornbusch. It seems like Dornbusch is having some connection issues. You hate to see it, but she's back in action. going
In
strong.
previous days, we saw some disconnections. That was very, very, very hard to see every time. So hopefully, no disconnections today. Yeah. So actually, I think we should also talk a little bit about the board format
Yeah.
because we've got 6 boards per team, and the first 2 boards are open boards. So usually those are the 2 best players of the country, and then we've got 2 women's boards actually. So board 3 and 4 are 2 women's boards, and then board 5 and 6 are 2 youth boards. Board 5 being a youth board, an open youth board, and board 6 being a women's youth board. So, yeah, what do you think about that format?
I think it's a really cool format. I have it on screen right now for those who were questioning. I think it's a really cool format. You're really pushing, young talent and not just the same old, the 6 male that have always dominated chess, the 6 older generation. Now you can say, okay, we're gonna have some younger players, we're gonna have some female players, we're gonna have some male players. It's gonna be a nice mix. There's a lot of talent in all the countries, and I think it's a great initiative to really, start a popping. For
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. Yeah, I've stressed this in the previous weekends as well. I love this format just for the reasons that you just explained. Yeah.
All right, let's look at the position here. It seems like both white or black are, very. I would say they're very content with it. This kingside push is a little bit off though.
A little bit. It's not too bad for the moment. It's still kind of solid, but yeah, it could be a potential target at some point. For example, with h4 for white. But still, nothing major. And of course, the focus is on the knight d5 move at the moment. Like, how would you take care of that move?
If I was black,
Yeah, if you were black.
okay, I take with the bishop. I'm just looking at what they did. Now this is an interesting part. Where we're going to place the knight. You could probably throw it on a5. a6 was also a viable option, and then pull it back there. But that's a little bit odd. You hate to see that. You hate to see that. But I think black is actually. I'm very content with black's position here. I'll be very happy. We're gonna see what we have 30 games going, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just gonna rush through here. Let's go to the board 4. WFM Martin Dubois versus Yang Haziliu. And it seems like we're in an endgame where white has some disconnection with the pawns.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yeah. That's going to be tough to deal with in the long run. I think the black should just be able to target the c4 pawn. The e5 pawn cannot be targeted in a good way at the moment. So I think black should have just tried to target the c4 pawn somehow. For example, play rook ac8, play bishop e6, and then try to undermine that pawn.
Yes.
Black also, yeah, black is just a bit better. I mean, no weaknesses in the black position. Maybe a knight b4 move could be interesting to play on tactics, maybe to grab the bishop pair. Yeah, I like black's position so far. So this is good for the Singapore team.
Absolutely. Yep. Singapore is going off with a very strong contention. While we're waiting, ladies and gentlemen, let me quickly remind you who will be the top players in this event. It will be Ding Liren, Ian Nepomniachtchi, Alexander Grishuk will be joining us, Levan Aronian, Wesley So, Rajabov, Anish Giri, Mohamed Anand, and Duda will be in the events in the later stages once we reach the top division. And where our top males, ladies and gentlemen, we also have the top females. Hui Fan will be playing Hampi Kanori, who made a massive prestige when she was playing the WSCC earlier. Gorchinka, Wenyan Lagno, and Zak Ditsi will also be joining us in the later stages. When are the later stages? Let me throw up the schedule here. So we're in Division 3 now. August 7th, 8th, and 9th will be this division with all these countries. We have the Division 2 after that. And the week after that, we will have the top division. So a lot of excitement in chess, ladies and gentlemen. We're reading the chat, only the Twitch one. So if you are commenting, if you have any questions, go to twitch.tv/chess and let's hit it up from there. Now let's go to the next game, which is board 5 of them.
Well, you can take this one, Vic. Let's go. Let's go.
The king,
Who's better and why?
the king is going on a stroll. The king is absolutely going on a stroll, having quite a wide time. I don't know what she's doing here. Is this been a piece sacrifice? Am I missing something? There hasn't even been a piece sacrifice. Usually when you see this, there has been a sacrifice on f7 to really get things going. But now this is just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful white. This seems... It doesn't seem over. I think after trading king h6, black is kind of safe, but, white will find its way inside somehow. Maybe with the knight over here, and then the queen coming to d2, giving more checks. This is a rough one. This is a rough one.
Very good for white, I agree there. Yeah, we could check the opening if you want.
I live for that. You know me. Master theory over here always wants to know the opening. It seems to be... Do not mention that. Seems to be a real low pass. Quite simple. So far, so good. Nothing out of the ordinary. Let's see where it went wrong. White is already a strong center. I don't think you would like to trade. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you'd like to trade here as black.
Usually you keep the pawn on e5 indeed, and yeah, well, this is called the Archangelsk opening in the Spanish. It has been played by Magnus Carlsen once in the Karjakin, in his match against Karjakin. In general, I think the black fell for a little trick here.
Yeah, look at this.
Was taken, and also I think that your dog doesn't like this move.
No, my dog is.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. I think she knows. She has the natural instinct for bad chess moves. So I have a new puppy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna start with that. I do have a new puppy. She's quite the little troublemaker. So if you hear some sounds, I'll probably have to calm her down from time to time, because she's not used to having such beautiful co-hosts next to me. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep going. Just gonna keep going. Board number 6 with Charlie Mack versus Noël Lomangdong, and white is pushing it here.
Yeah, white's clearly better. Nice square on d5 for the knight at some point. More development. The knight on b8. The queen side of black is still not developed, so this should be very, very good for white. I think f5 is also an idea. Yeah, taking on f4, queen takes. f4 looks already close to winning, actually.
Yeah, or even rook takes, so you can like double up this way.
I think queen takes f4 is tactically already winning, because knight bd7, knight d5, and you win the area because there's queen takes f7 on the board.
Yeah, exactly. Knight d5, and this is over. Game over. Kia. She's a wild one. She's a wild one. Sorry about that. We'll fix that. We'll fix her later. I'll have a good talk with her. Let's go to, I think this is Ireland versus Japan. We're just gonna go through the games, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a game that you need us to see, let us know in the Twitch chat. We have our good friend Roland here, monitoring it 24/7, putting him on the spot here.
Yeah. So give me your questions, and we'll see. Yeah, if we can answer those, of course. Don't be afraid to ask some questions.
Yeah.
Black looking good here, I believe.
Yeah. Black is having a very nice position here. This dark square bishop is a little bit awkward, I would say. It's going to be kicked into oblivion, going into some strange places. This light square bishop, oof, beautiful.
Light square bishop, especially, yeah. It's and also usually this is like a sort of King's Indian position, but white cannot really break through on the queen side anymore. So, for example, in the King's Indian, you have c4, c5 as a break.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of the pawn on c5, everything is more or less protected on that side. So, actually, I think that black is going to have a field day on the king side if played correctly. So, yeah.
A game to watch. Another game that we can't watch anymore is the one where the king... look at that profile pic. Legend. Out of 7, we did have the finishing touch here. After knight f5. Ooh, knight takes d6. You hate to see it. Very good game. Let's move forward to the... I'm just going to cherry pick very interesting positions. I'm going to say that this is an interesting position. So let's flip it aside. We want to see the white position. Black seems very comfortable here.
Yeah, I think so. Black's definitely going to win the exchange back, be a pawn up. Yeah, and same color bishop, so very good chances to win here. Exactly.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the same color bishops against, opposite color bishops.
All right, yeah. So with opposite colored bishops in general, you have more chances to draw because you can sort of more or less try and build a fortress. If you were white in this case, because you're a pawn down. But with the same colored bishops, it's a lot harder because both players are fighting for the same squares, especially with the bishops there. So yeah, but in general, it means more drawing chances. And but we've seen, for example, Viswanathan Anand showing that even with opposite colored bishops, you can still play very well for the win there. There's one game that comes to mind is I think Anand Karyakin in the candidates tournaments of 2015. The candidates were or 2000, I don't know. And in case Anand made a big showcase where he won a very nice positional game with opposite colored bishops. So yeah, it gives more drawing chances, but it's not over. Even then, you can still play for a win.
The
Yeah,
legend, absolutely. Let's continue. I'm just gonna cherry pick the. Oh my god! Oh, oof! Look at that! Look at that! This is a. I would say that this is a instant win for White. I don't see why this shouldn't work. I think Tarun is thinking about, do I go Queen H5 first or do I go Rook F3 first to close this one out? How do you close this one out, Roland? This is a slaughter.
that's tough. That's tough. Let's see. We've got. Oh wow, this is gonna be kind of hard. I think that you're right. I think it's Queen H5 and Rook F3. I don't see how Black can deal with that. Yeah, it looks very good. I was thinking of Knight G6 here, but I'm not sure if that works. Rook G1 also good. Good attempt. What is White going to do after Bishop F6 though? Yeah, I was thinking about Knight G6 instead of Rook G1, but then Black can take on D5, and if White takes back with the pawn, then the F7 pawn is not pinned anymore. So yeah, I like Rook G1 a lot better. White's of course threatening to take on G7. So the question for White is, what is White going to do after Bishop F6 here?
Bishop F6. I don't want to see Bishop F6. I want to see like a strange move. So we can sacrifice. Yeah. And then we place his knight wherever, I believe. I don't think it matters. Let's go right here. We have all. I see a sacrifice. I just want to sacrifice Suland. I just want to.
Yeah, there you go.
Just want to get in there. Obviously, Black is not going to play Rook to A8. But we'll see, chat. We will see how that is going to work. So this one's going to probably be over. Let's go to the next board. We have Diana Mirza versus Mailin Hoshino. And Black is very comfortable. Again, these bishops on these king sides. Ruthless, I would say.
Oh, yeah, this is already, wait, Black is a piece up, so Black should be a lot. This is over. Black is just winning.
Yeah, this is not going to go well for them.
Just E3, D3, Rook takes G2. You can have a field day in this position. So yeah, very nice, very nice.
Very good. All right, let's go back to our
Ireland.
Our top dogs. Actually, Igor Efimov versus Xiangyi Liu. We are a few moves ahead, obviously. This is interesting. I'm not quite sure who's better here.
Wow, this is looking complicated. I like Black because of the holes in the white position here. If D takes E6, then Knight H3 is mate already. So, yeah, I think Black is doing good. I think the Knight on G5 is a big piece here. The Bishop on G7 is great. Rook H E1. I'm wondering how Black will continue. Maybe a move like F4 to try and get some F-file action. Yeah, that looks like a good idea. Yeah, Black is doing very well. The question is how to proceed once again. And I'm thinking F4 would be like the way to go to try and get some action on the F-file there. The F2 pawn could be a big weakness here. A big weakness here. Let's see what I did there. And
a big weakness. You want all the action. I think you have a weakness just for my action. You know what it is?
oh, I do, Vic. I do. Right. So F4 played, Black doing very well. So this is looking good for the Singapore team. Yeah, so both teams are very, very strong. These are the two teams actually that are, going to play for the win in this pool, I believe. If we take a look, I'm now taking a look at their lineups, and it seems that the biggest difference is on this board, on board two, where the rating is about 350 difference in favor of the Monaco player here with white. And the other boards are more or less the same, except for the last board, where once again Monaco has the rating advantage there with about 300 rating points. So I think that Monaco is on paper the favorite in this match.
Well, it seems like the first GM that we have in the match is gonna feel the pain. There is a time difference, ladies and gentlemen. The time is 15 minutes 5 seconds, so there is an increment. But Black is really throwing down the pain here. Obviously, he cannot take. Maybe he has to take here, because the d5 square is going to be very ugly. I don't think he can take here right now, because this will take with check, ladies and gentlemen. But if we get out of here, if this rook comes in, the king goes back to h1 as his own square. Now we have a beautiful pin here, and Black is having a field day on this, and carefully deciding what to do. b5, very strong move, very nicely played. And it seems like the first board has gone into a drawn, very normal position. Doesn't seem like.
Actually, I'm a bit surprised here. I think that Black is looking very, very good. Actually, I mean, there's no real weakness in Black's position. There's no real weakness in White's position here as well. But Black has the open F file, got more space. So positionally, this is actually looking a bit better for Black. Black is going to maybe push the pawns on the king's side, and
Exactly.
I don't know. It's looking a bit better for Black, but okay, it's once again also very hard to break
Oh, look
through.
at the time! He's got 6 more minutes. You gotta punish them.
That is very good to notice. Oh yeah, by the way, about that, it's actually the time control, ladies and gentlemen, is 15 minutes and 5 seconds increment per move. So it's we've got a rapid games here, and that's why we've got the time to skip through to check a lot of games here in the broadcast today.
The win will be 2 points, a draw is 1 point, and a loss is obviously 0 points. I'm just putting on the scoring right now. All right, let's keep up the hype. Let's keep up going. I'm feeling good. Are you feeling good, Roland? I think we're doing good.
Yeah.
I think we're good. With another, I'm just going through the games that have ended. The Irish chess has taken the lead. Tarun Kanya Marala Bendis. I mean, sportsmen. Yeah? So these sports commentators, when we go to like football and soccer, they have to really pronounce these names correctly, because oof, you don't want to get the heat on you from the fans.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very hard for us. By the way, this was the women's board, and also one other mention: the ratings that you see are not their actual ratings; those are the Chess.com ratings. So, yeah, if it's necessary, I'll give everyone an update on what the actual ratings are. But keep that in mind in any case. And
Absolutely.
7 is a very nice finish here.
Look at that. Yikes, the queen is undefended, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the board, sometimes you just gotta look at which pieces are undefended and can I take advantage of that. And White says, let's go, baby, as Danny Rensch would say. Bob's your uncle. And that is a full queen with the next rook coming in. And that would be a deciding factor. Let's go back to I want to go back to the board 2. I want to really look at Igor versus Xion. Who was playing a fantastic game. And Black is now deciding, do I go for this? Because he wants to take d5. Black's plan here is to take d5. So
I think it's over. Yeah, bishop takes c3 is with check. So queen takes c3 is with check. So you need to be careful about that. But b4, I was just about to say that, because if the knight moves, then Black can take on f1 and then take on d5, and it should be over.
Yeah, the same if the queen takes, you can just take on d5 and it is over.
Yeah, so bishop takes d5 looks winning to me.
Very nice. It's an upset. Keep your GMs at home, ladies and gentlemen, because the IMs are running this tournament for now.
Yeah, it seems that the first GM not looking too hot there, so big upset
This is
for
a beauty. Oh, White has actually a saving grace rookie 8 here.
it's not it's a saving grace. That's true, but Black will be material up and will be a lot better. Bishop takes h3 is met by bishop takes b3.
I think you could just take, right, and then see if you go down this line.
Yeah, rook takes.
I mean, you're still threatening mate here.
Yeah. So and after knight takes f2, just take on e6, and you should be winning with Black. A lot more material. Yeah.
Boom shakalaka.
Look at those bishops also.
Ooh, yeah, this is gonna be over. Oh, this is exactly what they played. Black does only have 20 seconds, so that is something to note. But this should be very easy. Check, check. Win the pawn on b2. And we can go all the way, ladies and gentlemen. Good stuff, good stuff. I'm just going through the boards here, ladies and gentlemen, to see if we have some hype. And I think this game is actually pretty hype. How many pieces can you fit on a square, Roland? Because they're trying to, do the impossible here.
One square, obviously. One piece per square, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right. It's a very packed party on the king side over there.
A packed party?
Sure what's going on? Sorry, what?
A packed party? So you would say it's a PP?
It's.
We're watching a PP here, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
What do you think about bishop f6 here, Vic? My
bishop
idea was
f6.
Yeah, I think that might have been close to winning here because you're threatening queen takes h6 mate. And if you take on f6, just knight takes f6 because, okay, now you lose a piece. But if you play knight takes f6 after bishop takes f6,
yes.
I think you win material here because the rook on g8 is going to fall.
And you're also looking at f5 here if things don't go well. Things go south, one would say. Bishop f6, wow. How do you see that? It's Grandmasters here.
Puzzle rush, baby.
Puzzle rush, baby. Yeah, also, like I said, you're looking at f5 here. This is very interesting. But we do have some moves. This didn't happen. f3 has been played. And Black now actually has the initiative again, I would say. If the bishop goes to f6 and you open up this g-file is... maybe not f6. Maybe you want to route it all the way to e7. Keep the dark script bishop.
Good.
This would be a very nice initiative for Black, I would say. So, cool game.
Yeah.
I like cool games. They tickle my pickle, as they would say. And I'm looking at the scores here. And Ireland is up 3-0 against Japan. And you hate to see that. I see you crying, Roland. You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
You hate to see
Pain in my heart. Pain in my heart.
I was laughing at you tickle my pickle.
Oh, don't repeat it. Don't repeat it. I know, man. I know. It's a family-friendly stream. Also, my earplugs keep falling out. That's fine.
Yeah, you can. It's okay. So rook a8. Rook g1. I guess is that possible? I'm not sure because you do have bishop f6 ideas, but white is queen f2. Yeah, I think.
Let's look at here. Can you?
I think it's possible.
Can I just do this?
Yeah, queen f2.
Oh, you have queen f6. Ah, you sneaky little devil. All right, so it is possible, but they just traded off. Go to queen to e7.
Yeah, queen e7. That was actually a better move. I think white's doing very good now. Rook a1, getting the initiative. The knight on e1 is making sure that the bishop on g7 has nothing to do in this position.
Yeah, I mean, usually. So this is the thing, right? The top level players will always say, give us those bishop pairs. We want the bishop pairs in the endgame. You don't want them when your bishop is actually a pawn. And at this position, this bishop is a pawn. There's nowhere for him to go. And this knight on e4.
I like it. I like g4. It's if black takes on g3, white's gonna have a good time with the g file. And if black takes on e4 because the bishop cannot go anywhere, then it's good knight versus bad bishop. This is looking positionally winning already for white. So yeah, g4, very nice move. Black needs to take on g3, I think.
Yeah, I think that should happen.
Chance. And then after rook takes g3, queen h7. Is there a mate already after knight f6?
Can you just go?
Yeah, bishop f8 is the only saving grace here. Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Only way the black can save this.
very hard to spot.
Very
Very
hard.
difficult to see.
Yeah, because the only alternative would have been queen h7 instead.
Oh,
But
but
then
do
we
you
have
see?
knight.
There's time trouble.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh, that's
wow.
solid. Very nice. Very nice. Well done.
Train goes for it. Well, legend. One
So
alpha male, you would say.
now I'm thinking that black is okay. I mean, if you take on g6, oh, by the way, look at the time trouble. They're
Yeah,
closing
yeah,
in on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. You hate to see it, chat. You hate to see it. I think the queen actually has to go back to put the pressure on h6 to keep this pressure on here. And after, let's say, queen f7, you're actually looking to do this now, and you're quite fine. You have to go be worrisome, obviously, about h6, but like you said, black, if he gets to an endgame where the bishop has free reign, GG.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. I think with g4, the black bishop does have more potential now because the bishop can, for example, move to g5 or on the c1 h6 diagonal in the long run at some point.
All the way
but
here.
White's going for the kill. Rook g8, big threat. Only move bishop g7, it seems.
Ooh, I like this. Going in hard, I like it. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, this is a nice game. It's all on the king side.
It's so dangerous. Bishop takes e4, really?
Going back.
Okay, it's okay. White has a big weakness on f3, so positionally this is still okay for black. Rook a8, very good.
Let's go in
the
there.
f pawn is going to be a big problem for white.
It is these ranks. It's lucky that the black king cannot just enter all of a sudden. If the queen wasn't here and the queen could have gone to f4 and then start giving checks all of a sudden, that would have been a problem. But now it seems like you can just give a few checks. But be careful for this.
Yeah, exactly. Rook b8, I like it. Rook takes b3, just trying to grab a pawn there. That might be more useful than entering on a2, but still, it's looking more or less okay for both teams. I think it's about equal disposition.
It's not really okay for both teams because Singapore is up 2.5. So we need Monaco. Monaco really wants to win. Japan versus Ireland. Obviously Ireland will be content with a draw because they're already up 3-0.
Ah, all right. Yeah, we've got the updated standings on the left, if on the screen, for you guys to follow as well. So Ireland only needs a draw. I think the black is doing. I want black to play e4 at some point to try and get the bishop out.
Yeah. I see. Let's go. Do it now. E4.
No,
Come on.
Not yet.
We earn this. Rook a2. Rook a2. You cannot defend him anymore.
Queen
D3. Queen d3.
Queen d3. How are you going to win? Queen takes h4.
Queen takes h4. Oh my god, it's crumbling.
You can also play e4 still. No, queen takes h4. This just grab that pawn.
Easy baby. Pawn. Thank you, buddy.
Say queen f4.
This bishop is gonna come in now at any time. Wreak havoc. Maybe even an h5, bishop h6.
This is winning. There's no way that Void can save the knight. If rook g4. No, now queen f4.
Queen f4 looks good. Yeah. Wow. Black really pushed there for a win. I think White was pushing for a win actually.
At some point, yeah, definitely. But he overpushed, it seems.
And it's mate. Wow.
It's mate after mate in two. Wow, nice. So this is a win for. Oh no, wait. This is why Japan might have a chance to tie this then still, but
yes, having at least 3.5 points.
Yeah.
Oh, what a game! What a game! GG's to both players. Thank you for that spectacular game. Let's go back to Singapore versus Monaco. Look at this. Let's brush up on our endgame skills. You think you're gonna have a nice, peaceful day, Huland? I'm gonna put you to work, buddy. And this is one of them.
It's a draw.
Okay. Let's go to the next one.
No, because White cannot make any progress. How is White going to make progress here?
That's what you're going to tell me. Because I didn't see.
Maybe there are some Zugzwang's ideas here actually, because the knight on f6 is running out of squares at some point, perhaps. Because now, for example, the knight can only go towards. If the knight goes to g7 at some point, then bishop f7, and then there's Zugzwang.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point to point out. Let's make a weird move. and do this. And
Uh,
now
knight-
actually you have knight, king f6 here. But the point is you cover all the options except f5. So maybe not.
So I don't think there's anything that white can try. I think that there's no Zugzwang options here as well. H4, just take the pawn on H3, and then it should be. It's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
draw.
But I'm not gonna boo her for trying. You grind out that extra pawn. You make her earn that draw.
Yeah, why not? You could make a mistake somewhere. And actually, if you follow Title Tuesdays, sometimes people even play on with a rook versus rook ending. So
Yeah.
why not try it here as well?
The time is definitely part of the game. We see that there has been a declined draw by white, so white is going to keep pushing, and we're gonna see. Let's go for. Oh, look at this one. Hello.
Yep, winning for white.
Hello. How did this happen? No, I don't even want to ask.
C7.
Is there a mate here somewhere?
Well, a C7 would have been very good there. But now it's now what do you do? Now just grab those pawns.
Yeah, I mean this is going to be.
King is getting in there. King takes
easy.
f6.
I want to see if there was a mate here. So you say C7.
Yeah, C7 looks very good. Bishop E6 next.
Bishop B6. Ooh, absolutely. So you'd have to take here. So after Bishop B6, you could go here.
Yeah, but now you have Rook B8, I think.
Rook B8.
And Rook
Yeah,
takes
you just
it.
lose the rook. Yeah, exactly. Good.
Good win. But
Nice
still,
win.
white is winning anyways. Going to have a lot more pawns than black. Actually, white is already 3 pawns up here.
White is oh, we're not actually in the this is the game we're at now. White is shuffling just a little bit. I think white should just run all the way here to G6.
I think so.
To make it easy. And then start pushing this rook this way, but this looks very nice. You can play C5.
Okay, that was unexpected. I think white just forgot about the the repetition there.
You hate to see it, Roland. You
Oh
hate
my
to
God.
see it. Look at that.
We're gonna see more of those.
I think she played King E4 because she wanted to play C5 to start pushing here. And then she thought, I might as well go to G6, but it was too late and we got a repetition. Oof.
Exactly.
That is a yikes. And those were the games for this round, Roland.
That was the last one?
That was the last one, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna close a whole lot of games. Yep, this should have been the last one.
All right. In that case, we're waiting for the standings and the results to update. So we'll keep you posted on that, everyone. But so far, very exciting first round. And I think we saw already a lot of upsets. For example, we've already got a decisive result, you can see on the left, with Singapore winning the big match against Monaco. And I think, in my book, that's kind of a surprise, especially because Monaco was having a Grandmaster in their lineup. So, yeah, I think that's kind of a surprise to me.
That is actually very surprising. We do see. Hold on, that is not the one that I wanted. We do see Singapore winning 3.5-half. And the scores will be updated, ladies and gentlemen. That will be in the process once the FIDE arbiters have said this result is okay. We're going to implement it. For now, we're going to go on a quick 3-minute break so I can get some stuff working. So we'll be back right after this. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We do have the final standings, as you can see here, and my board being slightly off because I don't know how to produce stuff, chat. Don't ask me how that works. All right, there we go. There we go. Whew, we made it work. So we see Singapore with a devastating blow to Monaco. Monaco? Monaco. I think it's Monaco. You know Monica from Friends? That with an O. Should we change the name? I think that's a good one. 4.5, 1.5. But Ireland taking the... Actually, these are very big, devastating scores between all the teams.
Yeah, big results. Albania and Malaysia was an interesting clash. 3.5 versus 2.5 in favor of Albania. Yeah, and also Syria doing well against South Korea. Syria just qualified from the 4th division, so they're doing well still. Hong Kong lost to New Zealand. Hong Kong also qualified from Division 4, but so they lost their first match against New Zealand. This is only the start, of course. Biggest result is Singapore winning the match against Monaco. Two of the rating favorites facing off against each other and in favor of Singapore.
Exactly. Now let me grab the standings for you. A lot in there. We see that Ireland is taking the lead, Singapore at 0. So if this will be the end result, ladies and gentlemen, in Pool A, they would go on to the next round, the next division. But obviously, we still have a lot more games to go. It's a round robin, I believe. Let's pick up the format, ladies and gentlemen. I believe this is a round robin. I could be wrong, but I never ran. Teams within each pool play a single round robin with players against their corresponding boards. There we go. You see, I should never doubt myself, Roland. I saw you doubting. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. All right. The next games will start in 5 minutes. We're going to see if we can get some juicy games going on. And I'm actually looking at this board that they have right now. Oof. You hate to see it.
What's this? New Zealand versus Hong Kong, it seems. Yeah, okay, yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
this one already. This is the last one I had up. All right, cool. So we have a few more rounds. If you were looking at this pool right now, who would be the favorite, you would say?
Well, with Singapore winning the match against Monaco, I think Singapore is one of the favorites at the moment. They've got a very high average rating compared to the rest of the teams. But yeah, it's very difficult to say based on average rating because, of course, we've got very different kinds of boards. One of the biggest things is that there are women's boards and there are also youth boards. So yeah, it's average rating is not everything. You could, for example, have a very high rating on board 1, but then a very low rating on board 6. So it really doesn't say everything here. But I do believe that Singapore has a very good shot in general.
Okay, I hear my puppy chewing on stuff downstairs. I'm gonna have a quick look. You're gonna own this. You're gonna own this stuff for 30 seconds. We'll go. Say something. Say something beautiful.
Okay, guys. So Big has actually got a new puppy. It's an adorable puppy. It's called Kira, and yeah, very nice puppy. It's a lovely dog, one of the best dogs I've ever seen, and he's a very good companion to my friend there with Bigfoot. But yeah, you could hear her shout a few times, obviously, and yeah, maybe we could also see it as an indicator of how the games are going. If Kira is excited, then we're definitely going to stick with that. Okay, Kira, yeah. All right, so yeah, all the dog jokes aside, Big, of course, has to take care of his dog. I mean, every good dog owner would do that. Yeah, and he's back, the big dog himself. So,
would anyone like to adopt a dog? Because I'm saying she's actively... These are my headsets, chat, okay? Nice Beats headset. This is what she did last night with him. The day before I started streaming, okay, she started chewing and everything. She's actively trying to sabotage me going on air, but I will not stand for it, so... She grabbed a spatula from my kitchen sink to lick the eggs off of it, because I was making scrambled eggs this morning. Alright, you hate to see it, chat, but it's going well. The prizes for this tournament, I'm not sure what the prizes are actually. I have to look that up. There are prices, obviously. I have to get back on that. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's also glory and fame, of course. Of course, there will be top
Yeah.
medal for the team. So, but we are a long way from that. We're still in Division 3. The medals will be divided in Stage 2. Maybe we should remind everyone about Stage 2, what that entails, actually.
Sorry, come again?
Maybe we should remind everyone of what Stage 2 is, because we are now at Stage 1 with a few divisions where the countries are divided.
Yes. So this is Stage 2. Preliminary round. We have 8 teams qualified from the top division. KO duel match. Plus Armageddon game, 4 teams will advance to the quarterfinals. Can you pick it up from here, Roland?
Yeah, of course, the quarterfinals, 8 teams, and yeah, after that, of course, the semifinals, 4 teams, and after that, of course, 2 teams with a final. Yeah, as you can see, it will be a KO duel of 2 matches in the finals, and also actually in the other semifinals, quarterfinals, and the preliminary rounds. And yeah, this is where the money is where the prizes are going to get divided, where the medals will be divided, but. We have still got a long way to go from there. We're only at Division 3, and the Stage 2 will only be decided, I mean, like, which countries will play in Stage 2 after the top division has been played, and we are still a long way to go from there, so,
I see.
yeah. We are still waiting for the games to start.
Yes.
Yeah, what else can we talk about? Well, yeah, how exciting this event in general is. I mean,
It is. It is. It's a good event. It's a solid event. Absolutely. Chat, we're going to go on a 2-minute break. I have to fix something real quick. We'll be back shortly for the next games. We'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. The games are in full progress, and I'm gonna give you a fair warning already, chat. Chat, I know you're watching, you're lurking. If you hear a dog quacking in the back, that will be my puppy having one of those chew toys that sounds like a dog. So that's only I am against the oppression of dogs. Let me start with that. But it is what it is. So, is there a specific matchup that you would like to see? I'm not sure if we have all of them. Seems like we have Albania versus Monaco.
Yeah,
and
that's an exciting one. Actually, Albania and Monaco, two of the rating favorites in this pool.
Yes.
So yeah, that would be a good one to focus on. But of course, we are going to check all the other games as well, see if we can find some fun games for everyone to take a look at. All right,
joy for the whole family. Absolutely. Let's see if we get. I'm gonna scour through the openings, and I already see an interesting one. This is not something that I'm too familiar with, so let's break it down. Who's better here?
It seems it's hard to say. I think that Black has an idea with b5 in position to try and break open the queen side here. So White needs to be careful of that. And actually, I think that with that break, Black is doing absolutely perfect because the bishop on c1 has no future. While after b5, the bishop on c8 is going to have a nice square on b7 where it has nice range on the chessboard. So yeah, I think Black is doing all right. Yeah, queen a2, preparing for the b5 assault.
Yes.
And yeah, I think Black is doing very well. So
perfect.
After b5, I think the Black is doing very well.
Absolutely. Even if you just take with either the queen or the knight. I think the knight puts some pressure on it. This bishop is going to go out. Put some pressure on g2. And we are looking quite handsome and dandy, I would say, for Black. Let's jump over real quick to... Oh, I love the King's Indian defense. I just love a good King's Indian defense. You know, this is what I can talk about. This is what the people want. People are like, Wouter, what are you adding to the stream? Who are you exactly? Now, I'm the one on the buttons. That's the first one. But I'm also, after extremely handsome... I cannot say that it's ironical, Chad. All right, I'm being ironical. It's just stop. Don't weird chat me. I just love a good King's Indian defense where the idea is to push f5 and you're gonna put all your eggs in one basket, and that is the king side. Do you agree?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And this knight d2 variation is an old line that I don't think a lot of people are playing anymore with from the white side. Usually the knight goes to e1 because then the bishop on c1 has more room to move. And one idea for Black to profit from this is to play a move like bishop h6, where the bishop has nice range of the h6 c1 diagonal. So
absolutely.
But yeah. But you're the King's Indian expert, Big. So
here's the thing: White's gonna press on the queen side, but I wanna take a quick one before this move. Let's say White plays this one here and Black close here. White plays b4. I'm just gonna make a few moves and goes for f5 here. Now the knight to g5 is actually a very annoying feature because after h6, knight e6, this could potentially mean trouble. Let's say you trade things off. This is a very strong pawn. Queen c8 doesn't work because knight d5. If he takes here, c7 usually falls. This is not the case right now, but if you grab these ones, and we're going to go into this position, White is actually not that bad if you push c5 and you're going to play on the light squares.
Right now, but
Queen
yeah,
d5 right now as well.
Yeah, these are general ideas, yeah. And so with knight d2, White is choosing for a more passive approach instead of knight g5, and Black is pushing f5 already. And actually, there's a fancy idea for Black. Sometimes that is the case. I think Kasparov and Judith Polgar have showed this idea on the board sometimes, and that's, for example, to bring the queen towards the a7 g1 diagonal. So, for example, with c6 or queen b8, queen a7, those are some interesting ideas. But with the opening, that is sometimes well, queen e8, queen a4 is a long way to go. But,
yeah, I like my long ways, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a knight on there, so let's not do that anyway. But you get the idea. I want to go to a7. I actually really like Black here, because he's going to push, yes, g5, g4, put a lot of pressure. But you also see a lot in the King's Indian. They put the rook on f7 to defend the 7th rank. You can put the queen behind and start pushing. Now it's more of a close position, so we are just waiting for these h5, g4 pushes. Very nice.
And Black played the move knight f6. I want to highlight that a little bit because what White wants is to try and target the d6 pawn, and that's what White's doing now with knight c4. So previously we had a knight on e8 protecting the d6 pawn, And I think the knight has to retreat to that square because on the next move, white's going to play knight b5 and try to attack the d6 pawn at some point. So
Yes, it's going to be a
yeah,
very annoying. I mean, I never said the King's Indian was a good opening. I just said it was a very exciting opening. So we're going to see how this one unfolds, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to board number 2 because we do have some development where black is having a very nice position. These pawns are a little bit messed up. This dark square bishop isn't really that well developed, and they're looking very nice here. How are you feeling about that?
bishop a6, also nice. White has lost the white squared bishop, is temporarily a pawn up, but the c5 pawn will fall shortly. So this is looking very, very nice for black. Just bishop a6 at some point, trying to use the light squares, rook d8 as you mentioned. So yeah, looking very good. Also, the position is quite open, so the bishop pair should prove a big advantage here. And there you go, bishop a6, already threatening bishop takes c3, winning material. So yeah, black is having a good day in this game, a good a field day, like we used to say. Yeah?
Field day, I like. Have you ever played for the Dutch Olympiad, Roland?
No, no.
Don't want to rub it in, but just just asking,
Yeah, don't. Oh, that's such a painful subject.
Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. I have to ask the tough questions here, chat.
Yeah,
well, gonna have to put them through the ringer.
I'll tough it out.
You're a good man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Next year, there'll always be next year. There'll always be next year.
All right.
We'll get there. I mean, you could, but you declined it, so you can commentate with me. Obviously.
That's what I should have said.
That's what you should have said. You can now. It's not credible anymore, but we're gonna go through it anyway. Let's go Malaysia versus New Zealand. This is not the Australia flag. This is the New Zealand flag. They're very much alike. A lot of people have like very comparable flags, which is they just did that to confuse me. I can respect that though. What is the knight doing on h5?
It wants to go to f6 and try to disrupt white's. Just try to mate, I guess.
Oof. Just try to mate.
But it doesn't do so much because the king can simply go to f8. Knight d7 is coming, and yeah, white. It looks dangerous, but I think black is more or less having everything under control after knight d7. I don't see any tricks in the position. It looks better than it actually is. I think I would still pick white because white is going to have a safer king. For example, after short castle and compare the king on the 8, it's white is also having a little bit more of a lead in development here. So white is definitely better. It's just not that much. It's just a slight advantage.
Exactly, not too much, but definitely something to work on. I mean, this pawn on e5 is very strong. The way you see it might not be that strong in engine terms, but in human terms, and if you look in its position, this could be very well be a very annoying feature, especially if this queen will get on the dark squares. Finally, find its way to g7 would be very annoying. Let's remind everyone about the Olympiad. Roland, can you tell us a little bit about what the event actually is?
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, the card is showing, of course, well, everything that you need to know. So yeah, 163 teams and over 1,500 players from around the world. We've seen countries that we've never seen before in events like this. So it's truly an amazing event, in my opinion. Countries like Gabon, like Mauritania that we've seen, countries from Africa that usually you don't see very often. It's very nice that the Olympiad is hosted in this way, of course. So yeah, once again, teams are split in 5 divisions according to strength and a verdict divided into pools within those divisions based on time zone and strength. So it's hard to fit in all the teams in each pool because of time zones, and that's why, of course, we are dividing them according to time zones to make it easier for players to participate. You don't want people playing in the night versus someone who's playing in the morning, for example. So there you go. And yeah, one of my biggest features, what I very much like here is that each team has 2 open boards, 2 women's boards, 1 junior male board, and 1 junior female board. So yeah, that is something that could really mix up the countries. So for example, if a country does not have a very strong board 1 and 2, then you could have a very strong board 5 and 6 and still to win the match in that fashion, because you simply have very strong youth players in your team. So yeah, those are the big things that I would like to stress out. Of course, it's a single round robin. Every team plays against each other in the divisions, and the top 3 teams from each pool advance to the next divisions. So yeah, that is more or less it. And we've got our lovely commentator, Big back, of course. Yeah, so what do you think about knight d7? I'm wondering how white is going to deal with the e5 pawn. You want to play f4, I think, but then after knight c5, I'm not so sure what... Yeah, how is white going to defend the knight on h5, do you think?
Roland, don't you just hate trash in your house? Don't you just dislike trash all of a sudden? Because my puppy does too, because she attacked my trash bin. So when I walked downstairs, all of my trash was over the floor and she was eating the eggshells out of it. So she's locked up in the room with me now. She's under house control. She's grounded, as she would say. Yeah, it's I don't know. We're gonna have a nice long talk, her and I. Yeah, I'm looking at you, buddy. We're gonna have a nice long talk after this. Well, first we're gonna talk about the chess, obviously, which is the most important one.
Yeah.
I like black here. Purely, you think white is gonna cast long, and she's gonna be here. But I just want to say Queen G5. Looking at d2, owning the dark squares, this rook is gonna find its way to g8 eventually, and the knight will come out. We're gonna have a castle long, and I don't know, black does really well here. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too. After Queen G5, black is clearly the better player. Once again, everybody, you see the ratings here. Those are the Chess.com ratings, by the way. So don't. That's not a good indicator of who is the favorite in this game.
All right, let me show the chat what I'm up against. This is
Exactly.
This is her. All right, let's say hello to the camera. I know you're a little bit shy. This is Kira. I got her for a few weeks now. She was a street puppy from Romania. I got her from the shelter. So she's used to eating everything she sees because she lived in the streets, but we're working on that. And she is a blessing. She's going to join us for the commentary today. And she'll be running around a little bit. She'll be Kira, the chess dog. If we could get some oh my dog in the chat, then she's a cutie. She's a cutie, but a little bit of a diva. All right. Back to the chess. Let's see what more boards we got. I don't think we have any results just yet. But we definitely have some interesting positions. Let's jump over to this one. Alexandre Kutoli versus Zino Veleshnya, Albania versus Monaco. And this pawn on d6 is looking very, very juicy, I would say. A very nicely placed pawn.
Yeah, and also the knight on c4 eyeing the e5 pawn for black. So this is looking very, very good for white. White's actually a pawn up. The d6 pawn, like we mentioned, has fallen for black, and white still has an initiative, while the king side attack with g5 and h5 was not underway yet. So this is looking extremely good for white. Yeah, a big pressure. Maybe white's already winning because the e5 pawn cannot be defended, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh my god, I have to pull this game up. This look, is this Alekine's gun? Is that what they call that? With like this bishop on, looking on g2?
No, that's not true. The Alekine guns is with the 2 rooks and a queen behind each other, with the queen behind the rooks. So, yeah, not an Alekine gun, but you know your stuff, Big. That's a good.
No, obviously I don't. Apparently
I don't. About the Alekine gun at least. So,
I know the term. I know it's a queen behind something. I don't know. This is the beta Alekine's gun. I'm gonna put it like that.
Inspired by the
Absolutely. But this is a good chat because you have a rook g5 here. You're really gonna pull down the screws here, and I don't see how you defend. I mean, maybe bishop g3. But the queen is under attack.
Yeah, that's the idea. That was the idea.
No, I just looked at this. I didn't even see the queen was under attack. Look at that.
Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't work because of bishop g3. But after bishop g3, it's simply bishop takes b4. And after bishop takes a8, the rook on e1 is attacked. So great calculation from the player from Malaysia here.
Exactly.
Nicely done.
Very nicely done. And obviously, if you play something like queen g4, you can take, and there's still the pin, so you just cannot take. Even though this isn't the worst position for white, I mean, these bishops are very strong. Yeah, I do have this pawn majority on the queen side. You might make something out of it. Black is clearly better in that position. And we do see this on the board. So that's an interesting one. And I like it. I see a nice position, chat. I take advantage of that. And when we're talking about sacrifices, we're just going to jump to all the games that have sacrifices. And this is another one. Where we just see bishop takes a6. Why doesn't he take it back?
I think because it's at least a draw for white. After queen takes a6, king b8, and rook takes d7, I believe. Because after rook takes d7, white has queen b5 and at least a draw, I think. There.
That's true. Or
yeah, you can play rook d4 as well, and that looks actually winning. That looks
kind of crushing. Not gonna lie. All right. So that's why he couldn't take. We see a bishop c6, and now I think white calculated that they would take, and now I'm gonna question myself who's better here. Seems to be equal in material, but
it's black. The g2 pawn is under attack. White's at least going to get the pawn back. The bishop on a6 has to move. Now black is threatening to take on a6.
Yeah.
And so if the bishop moves, then black can simply take on g2 and still be a pawn up. So yeah, looking still great for black.
Completely agree. I'm eating some tomatoes, chat. You gotta be healthy. You gotta stay healthy. Let's go through some of the other games that we haven't looked at yet. Let's look at this. Zeon Lin versus G1 CU. This is South Korea versus Hong Kong. And it seems like white has a small edge on the king side attack, but I don't think it's enough just yet.
Yeah, this is board 3, so the first women's board. Let's see, looking very good for white, I think. Would be my first guess because I don't. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, what is white going to do? The knight on g3 is looking a bit awkward. I don't see any breaks on the king side for white. This is looking okay for black. So how would you? What does your gut say about?
So my gut says is I want to have my rook on g3. That's my first instinct. I want my queen on h6. And I want to trade this off so I can play like knight to h5. And if he takes, I have, the rook g5 pin. A lot of arrows, but that's my gut instinct. But that takes a lot of moves. Believe it or not, that is quite far away. But I do think white has the pressure. If something weird happens and this knight moves away, let's say you're here, there could always be like a sacrifice on g3 at some point to make black's life even more miserable.
Looking already close to winning for white indeed.
So it's definitely easier to play for white. And I like positions that are easier to play, for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree there. I think black needs to be very, very careful here.
Exactly. Okay, let's go back to the top boards. I'm not sure what's going on here with Grandmaster Avimov versus Pascu. But black seems to be threatening mate in one.
Yeah.
There's
it's bishop a3 though. Bishop a3 wins the queen. But they're still mate on d1 now. This is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is over. I was a bit scared here, but after rook takes e2, you have rook d1, so and it's still mate behind the ranks.
And after h3, you could simply also just take the rook, because I don't think there's a mate just yet. And there is the resignation. Good comeback by the Grandmaster. Absolutely. All right, cool. Let's go back to... I'm just going to scroll a little bit through... Chat, if you are new here, if you like this kind of content, let us know. Make sure to follow the Chess channel wherever you're watching. We are global, worldwide, and we will be producing a lot more events, and it's going to be awesome. I'm just gonna throw that out there, a little plug. A little pluggerino. You got to do that sometimes. We'll be here. So the format of our streaming, ladies and gentlemen, will be 3 hours. Then we'll have an hour break. Then we have another 3 hours. Then we have another hour break. And then we have the final 3 hours. So in addition, we'll be streaming 11 hours today. Yeah, we'll be streaming 11 hours today. So it's gonna be good. Action packed. It's gonna be filled. Do not go anywhere. And let's go to the next game. Talk me through this. Why wouldn't you take this pawn with white?
Yeah, if taking the pawn would have been okay, I think, in this position, but it's a nice buffer on the king side for white. For example, with the pawn on h4, you don't have to worry about queen h4 checks, for example, or
Exactly.
a knight g4 checks. So yeah, that's why you don't take on h2. And yeah, very nicely done by Alexandre Kutoli. And yeah, white is just completely winning. The pawn on h2. If black, for example, would have played h4 and something like knight h5, then black could have maybe made use of the pawn on h2. But black's just way too slow. White is going to be a lot easier with the attack in the center. With it's black to move here. So after a move like queen takes d7, e5 is going to come.
Oof.
And yeah, this is looking already over. Bishop c4, e6 on the next move, perhaps,
A
if
lot
possible.
of checks also. I mean, yeah, this is the problem when you're playing chess and you have so many good moves that you cannot choose out of them. You know, that's also a problem, chat. You know, the luxury. First world problems, you would say, if you get
First
into
world
these kind of
problem.
positions. First world problems because you have all these beautiful moves that you cannot choose from. I love, you know, when I play in my local club and we play some Blockhouse, I really love to like, you know, poke my opponent with some, you know, with some good old trash talk. And you have a few beers, you have a lot of fun, and then you trash talk a little bit. And one of my favorite lines is, so many good moves I cannot choose. You know, that's just a good one coming, Chet. This is a social game as well. You got to trash talk your opponent from time to time. You don't do that obviously online. That gets a little bit harder unless they have microphones, and it's definitely not okay to do during official tournaments. But with friends, I do support that kind of thing. I'm gonna get a lot of hate after this.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Actually, everybody, Wouter Bigfoot is, of course, Mr. Bigfoot is streaming very often on his channel. So if you like trash talk like that, then definitely check his channel out, of course. So yeah, I checked it out and it was a lot of fun to watch anyway. So don't worry, it's all in good fun. Everybody knows that.
Absolutely, he gets the most. I trash talk good on the most. It's a good one. Yeah,
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 that's
yeah. I mean, definitely that Knight B3 mate. Do you remember that one?
no,
Oof.
no, please, no.
Okay, we're not gonna mention that. Let's get the bishop to D3 here and start some
It's
AM
broken
on
my heart
G6.
so many times already. It's too much sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Once again, king side attack. Yeah, I think the h5, h4 pawn push more or less backfired a little bit for black. In this case, white is looking good. Bishop d3. Attacking g6. Only way to defend is knight f8, I believe. And then after rook f1, white's looking like he's going. Oh, it's black to move. Well, anyways,
Yeah,
it's the more or less the same. Bishop d3. Maybe knight e2, knight f4 ideas.
yeah.
Maybe rook
Also,
f1.
yeah. I just want to sacrifice. I see sacrifice. I just want to do that. But yours is probably better. He wants to exchange the queens. White's gonna say absolutely not. Maybe throw in an e6
Yeah,
to
just
really
e6,
close things out.
e6, rook e5, maybe
Yeah,
even.
queen e6, rook e5. This is.
I'm not sure about rook e5, by the way. What
You
happens on?
said it. I'm
Yeah.
just following. Oh no, it's not good.
So after queen e6, I wonder, maybe g takes h4. Yeah, and then h5, for example. That looks like a
Yes,
normal continuation.
but what I really want to do is 91, 93, 95. But that's a little bit too long.
Yeah,
Or is it?
that's a very slow plan. It could
Or
maybe
is
work.
it?
It
You
could
know, I'm a
maybe
very
work.
slow person. I learn very slow, so I might as well try it out that way.
I'm not.
Let's go to some of the other games. Let's go to. Let's see if we have a game that we haven't looked at just yet, just to keep the spice in. Jinwoo No versus Wing Ki Kwang.
Mm.
Um, it does seem like black is up a substantial amount. Is he a full? No, he's a qual up. He's a qual up. How do you say that in English? Not a qual. It's quality
Connection.
up. Good a quality up.
Yeah, in the Netherlands we call it a qual. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, later today we'll be seeing Suriname, and we will say Suriname because that's the Dutch way to pronounce it. All the other countries we will say it in the English pronunciation because we're very thoughtful of our audience.
Well, we'll try in any case, you know.
We'll try. We'll try. Yeah, this seems crushing for black. I don't know. It just seems crushing.
Yeah, too much material. That's all. It's like one pawn and an exchange for black, and also a good bishop on g6. So
Yeah.
just rook ec8, and it should be resignation for white.
Yeah, or you do the beta Elekai's gun. You go with the bishop there, bishop here, and queen mate. But obviously that doesn't work because you could just play knight to e1, you defend g2.
Or
But
knight
it's
d2, bishop h1.
it's a good idea to have if you can get rid of this knight. But obviously we cannot do that, unfortunately. Even though it would still be a decent move. Black's gonna do it the other way and push on other sides. Gonna rook d8. Doesn't trade rooks.
It's fine. It's fine. Black can play queen d3, trading queens, for example. That's also a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
A lot of ideas here for black.
A lot of good moves. A lot of good moves. Let's go back to... I'm going to go through the games here, ladies and gentlemen. This seems like a very interesting one. We have Clean Shukya versus Noella Lomadong. This is Albania versus Monaco. And there is definitely some interesting stuff here. Did you see a rating below 1200 there on the previous game, or was it in my imagination? No, Alan Handsome, we do have... So the format, let me just throw in the format again for those who were questioning it. The format is that... It's this... No, it's this one. This is the format. So the teams will be open with 2 women's boards, 1 junior male board, 1 junior female board, and 2 open boards. So they have to put in a junior male and a junior female. Obviously, the rating of the juniors will be a little bit lower than usually the open boards. Not always, obviously, but that is statistically speaking. So they have to fill in those boards with these requirements. So sometimes it will be a little bit of a lower rating, but that's only good. That's these young talents will get the chance to play on the top league, and I think that's very cool. That's something that I would have had loved to when I was younger. Well, but I'm not top talent, so unfortunately not. But you know, playing in a cool event next to like the big boys, something you definitely like to see, right, Blunt?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you could have been a very good coach, I believe. Just a mental coach to support everyone, you know, be a bit of a cheerleader behind everyone.
Yeah, that's what they love in the chess rooms, you know, just some crazy Dutch man just running around in pom-poms, you know. Go team, go team. I'll be a good mental coach. If you win, you get a puppy. If you lose, you're on the team. You know, that's a little bit of the coaching. Is that how you do it? I don't know, Chad. Give me some coaching tips. As we look back into this game, 50 seconds against 2.5 minutes. I like white here. Seems very good.
I think it's very double-edged. I think... okay, so white is attacking the a5 pawn, but black is attacking the b3 pawn with the bishop on d5. And that's actually the biggest difference here. The bishop on d5 versus the bishop on b2. Mm-hmm. The black bishop is doing a lot more at the moment, and concretely, it's black to move even, so black can take the pawn on b3 first. Yeah, that would be good. I think black's doing okay. I don't think... well, actually, yeah, I think I would pick black here, I think, yeah. Although the b4 pawn is looking a bit unstable at the moment. But you do have knight d5.
But you also have 15 seconds, so that's not easy always to spot. Knight d5 defends it, also rook b8. If this knight ever leaves the scene, let's say... Okay, not knight c4. If the knight ever leaves the scene, I would say. This g4 is also important, because if the knight goes in here, you do have some mating ideas, mating threats. So this knight is actually very important. On the e5 square, you hate to lose it. All right.
Actually, the last board, so that means this is the junior female board, board 6.
Yeah, correct. This is the junior male, I believe. Let's go back to the original position. This was the crushing position. Let's see how they ended. What?
Oh, it totally changed.
Nani?
No, not all.
All right, so this was... We were both in awe that this would be completely winging. This is where we left off the position. Knight d7 happened. We said maybe an e5. We traded off here. Okay, that's not too bad yet.
Very good so far.
This is still so far so good. This
d5.
is...
That works, I think. Bishop takes d7, wins...
yeah.
Am I missing something? Oh, rook takes d6. And you win back to
wow, peace. You win back to peace. Yikes. Okay, so we both lost it. So, I mean, it's not too bad that...
there, e5.
Yeah, I was like...
Yeah.
Why? Okay, so rook takes d6, and now suddenly black is, let's see, 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4, 1. Yeah, he's actually up a pawn.
White's still better because the king on h1 is a lot safer, but okay, now with the rooks on the d file, it's going to be a lot more difficult, of course, to win this position now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also time. Black has a lot more time, so much more time to think about the position. But still, white is better. And b6, I'm not a big fan because of rook b c1. Oh, actually, I am a big fan, but of course, but not a
Actually,
big
the foot
fan of.
fan.
So yeah, rook c6 now looking quite difficult to protect every pawn in the position. Every pawn is basically a weakness for black now.
Yeah, I hate to see that. Yeah, I hate to see it, chat. Yeah, this is, I think white is just not winning because rook d6 does defend everything. But you know, it's all. If this pawn was defended, let's say we put this pawn here, black would have been way, way, way better, chat. That's not the option because this is a isolated double pawn. It wasn't isolated, but it's just a double pawn. White is actually a little bit better. We're gonna look at this game closely. I want to see some other games and see if we got some fire on the board. This seems over. This seems to be a very easy win for Brunatuzzi. Doesn't seem like, unless black can really push this pawn on the queen side, but I don't see that happen. I'm going to see a lot of checks. Oh, there goes the pawn. And yeah, this one is completely over. Good games all around. I mean, we're being spoiled. We're actually being spoiled. I like it.
Exciting stuff so far.
Is this a so this is where we left off last time, and you see there's a checkmate.
Oh boy, okay.
We had a little bit of a checkaroonie coming in. So let's see.
Looking straightforward. Yeah, bishop g6.
Yeah, in here. Oh, okay. Look at
Very
that.
clean.
Look
Very
at
clean.
that. Very clean indeed.
Nicely
Well
done.
played by Ashley. I think someone asked about the 1200. Look at that 1200. Cleaning up. Well done indeed. Much pride, much proud. Let's look at the, I think this is the top board for Monaco and Albania. And this seems like a very drawish position. I actually like black a little bit more because of this pawn that could extend on the f file. But if the queens are traded off, it should be very drawish.
I think I would definitely pick white here, actually, because of the pawn on b7, especially if queens are getting traded. Then the rook on a3 is a lot more active than the rook on f8. So, for example, rook b3, rook b6, white is in the money, I would say, but it's still not. It's not easy to break through here.
Yeah, it's very hard because you cannot even. I think you have to get the king all the way over here and then start pushing this pawn. And I think this king will just mimic what this king does. I think that's the point here. That's the gist. And I don't see.
Yeah, I think if I were black, I would try to get the king to f5 at some point, and so that you have the option to push the king side. But white's doing a good job. If king, but I think it's more or less okay. I think king f5. There's not an easy way to break through here for.
Yeah,
maybe even rook g7 and rook g3. I think black.
Yeah, but now you're losing this pawn here.
Yeah, but it is in exchange for the b7 pawn, so you do have to be a bit careful there.
But I'd rather go like this and then go rook c3. It seems very strong. I don't know. I like it for both. Now this pawn, obviously you cannot take here. Let me just point this one out. Let's make a silly move, and I go here, and hey, a free pawn. Thank you, buddy. Hold on. Hey, a free pawn. Thank you, buddy. This is a mate one. The pawn does cover all the squares, so...
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy.
Don't do that. Don't do that, chat. I see you eyeballing it. Don't do it. Black is thinking here, actually. Putting himself a little bit in Zugzwang.
Black's a little bit in Zugzwang. I guess a move like rook h7 would be simple.
Yeah, just rook here.
Rook f7, rook c7. Rook g3 doesn't do a lot here.
No, he probably has to go back here. He needs to make a move.
Yeah.
There's 5 seconds.
Some sort of move. There's no active move here. Rook g8, but now rook takes b7.
Yeah, but then you take f3.
Black is going for it.
I like it. Take the pawn. Take the pawn. I'm not saying which pawn. Either way, this should be... Oh, he's going back. Wow. I hate that move. I hate king h2.
White doesn't dare to take it, but now after h3...
Maybe the king will come in.
King h4.
Yeah, this is really weird. The king will come in eventually to g6, to g3, And black is just better here.
Black is close to winning, I think, actually.
But
White need... Oh, what? What?
what?
Oh, he's trying to get the d4 pawn.
Yeah, but you can play rook b4. Okay, then you go rook d3 maybe, but then he goes king to g2. This is weird. I thought black had a winning plan there. I must miss something.
I think h3, king g5, king h4 would have been close to winning, yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's just rook b3, and it's at least a draw for white, I believe. Yeah, I think so. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, no. This is, I think it...
Oh, okay, he's going to go for it.
Oh, both players are going for the win here. But black is looking so good. King f5,
Absolutely.
king
e4. Yeah, absolutely. He's going to hide over here.
Protected by the rook on c3.
And this rook will stay on c3, will cut off the king, and he will eyeball this pawn so it doesn't promote.
This is very dangerous. Maybe it's still a draw, but I think this is looking...
Free pawn?
Black is in the money. Rook takes d4, free pawn.
Let's go. Thank you. This is a very good move, though, to cut off the king from going to e4. I like that.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, and now c6, king g4 I did not like very much. But
I mean, you can give a check. You can take here. And now if he checks, you can run over here. Yeah, this is really good.
This looks winning for black. The c7 pawn. Yeah, you're just going to push f3, bring the king in towards the queen side. I don't think white can ever stop that.
Yeah, rook check.
Yeah, just f3, king g3, and then...
Yeah, or king f3 first, also fine. Then king to e3. If this happens, you're just going to go back probably all the way to c6. You defend your pawn, you attack this pawn, and now you're just going to start running. Wow.
King d2, how are you going to proceed?
King d2, I would have gone king e4.
King e4. Yeah, nice, king e4. Yeah, this looks over. Yeah. So this 2 pawns versus just a king. If black's ever going to get the e5 pawn, that's actually still a winning endgame. This is just a winning endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rook e2 check here. I'm gonna pull him out.
Yeah, and it's nice that the king on e4 cannot be checked because of the pawn on e5. That's also something you see very often.
If this pawn wasn't here, white would have more chance to draw. Not theoretically, but with a lot of pushes, it's easier to give checks. But now black can just hide behind here, and I'm gonna start running, and this should be over. Actually, I don't think this works because
I don't think it works.
No, it doesn't work because after this promote take. There's no way to stop this white pawn.
Yeah, those are some tricks in the position.
There are some tricks. So king d2 is the correct... Oh, okay, he does see it. Now just king d3. Threatening mates, now here. Okay, so there was this little trick there. Look at that. Yeah. Your boy Big spots everything. Alright, f2. So this is a fun one. f2, if you go here, you can still promote. And you can actually take it like this. And now if you push forward, you can still defend the pawn. So this is completely winning. GG. That was a fun game. I like the ending. That wasn't the cleanest, but it was very instructive.
Yeah, I like rook endings as well. Yeah. A lot of fun to check.
Good stuff. Chat, that was the final game of this round. We're going to go a little bit sooner. Let's go over the standings again real soon. Let's go over the format of stage 1. Let's put that on here for now before we go into a quick break. Like I said, this is Division 3 now. We have 50 teams. 35 were already implemented there. 15 qualified from Division 4. Iraq is one of them. 5 pools, 10 teams. The best 3 will advance to Division 2. Then you have the same principle, who will go to the top division. And a top division is, those are the big boys. I can show a little bit what the top division is like, ladies and gentlemen. I know you guys are eager to know what the top division is right now. So this is Division 3. Let me throw that in right now. These are the teams that will be playing this weekend. Then we're going to go to the teams who will be next weekend. Is there a team in next weekend that you're a little bit biased about, Roland? That you're cheering for a little bit?
Well, a little bit, of course, because my team, the Netherlands, is going to play. Of course, your team as well, too, by the way, Vic. So, yeah, of course, I'm hoping my countrymen are going to do well. And, I'm very excited to see how they will do next weekend. But, of course, a lot of competition. For example, Germany is participating. Turkey also having a good lineup. So, yeah, next weekend will be yeah, very exciting to follow as well. So yeah,
Exactly. And
action
now
packed
let's look at the top division. The top dogs that we're playing. These
top
are
dogs.
already placed. Russia, obviously China, USA, Ukraine, and India being the real strong one. Armenia, Azerbaijan, Poland, Georgia. These are really the top teams that we will see in 2 weeks from now. I believe will be the top division. So very excited to see that. We're gonna go on a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes where we will go into round 3 of today. See you guys soon. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Bigfoot and Roland, and let's get right into the chess. That's from drama alerts, I'm just trying to hype. Doesn't matter. Let's look at the standings, ladies and gentlemen. Pool A, we're 2 rounds in. It's 3 rounds per pool, spread over the weekend, so spread over 3 days. And it looks like the underdog, if I can say that as an underdog, Syria, is actually taking the lead here. Surprising.
Yeah, a little surprising. They were, of course, they qualified from the previous division, Division 4. But so far, so good. Yeah, they beat Japan with 3.5, 2.5 in the previous round. And they are on a full 100% score so far. So yeah, they are doing great. Yeah.
Yeah, and your Monaco, that was your pet peeve, is having a rough time. The only country with a Grandmaster. Unfortunately, having some, but it's, it ain't over till the ex-girlfriend sings, so we should be good, chat. Very surprising. We do have some nice matches. Starting up, let's look at that real quick. With Ireland versus Monaco, Syria against Singapore, which should also be a very interesting matchup. Hong Kong, Japan, Malaysia, South Korea, and Albania, New Zealand. Now, I do have to mention, chat, that this will also be the first round of Pool B. But we're going to look at that after this round. After the break, we will just go into Pool B and see the standings right now, because we cannot look at Pool A all of a sudden and Pool B at the same time. So bear with us, chat. So we do have like 5 minutes, chat. So let's talk with the chat a little bit. Let's look at the Twitch chat. How's everybody doing? How's Ashby doing? Bong Bang 2000, Syria, Cook to Live. Hope everybody's having, with Rakesh here, International Master, Rakesh. Okay, I need to find his last name. Kulkarni, Rakesh Kulkarni is here as well, supporting us, having some fun. I hope you're all doing very well. It is very hot today. Hold on, I see the sweat on your forehead. It should be for you as well.
Am I sweating? I don't think I'm sweating. But yeah, you see the reflection of my light on my forehead. Yeah, it's going to be very hot. I actually closed all the windows because it's going to be a lot cooler that way. Because if I open up the windows, then there's going to be a lot of heat in my room. Yeah. So did you do the same? Did you close the windows?
We'll be right back. Okay, so I have this window outside open, but that's because the wind is coming from this side and the sun is still on that side. So it's still better to have this one open for the next 4 hours. And the other side are all closed, the window shut, and the blinds are shut, so the sunlight doesn't shine in as well. You hate to see that. You hate to see that, chat. What are you guys rooting for?
Yeah, who are you guys rooting for? Do you have a favorite country in this pool, in this division, Vic?
I actually go for Syria because I like rooting for the underdog.
Right.
I like that.
Hong Kong is also sort of an underdog because they also qualified from Division 4. Yeah, which happened last weekend, by the way, everybody. They also had, last weekend we also had a Division 4 with pools and, of course, also teams that qualified for this division. So, and in this pool, it's Hong Kong and Syria. So, yeah. But Monaco, we also have to talk about Monaco. Not doing too hot, only losing the first 2 matches. But in their defense, they did play against the top 2 teams on paper, and those were Singapore and Albania. So yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to bounce back from that. And yeah, only 1 round to go today, but of course they still have 2 days in the other. We still have 2 days to go with a lot of rounds.
Listen.
Yeah,
Maximizer Poker. Oh my god, so nice to see Bigfoot commentating. I'm not following this event. Now I do. That is not a paid actor, chat. That is not a paid actor. He actually comes from the bottom of his heart. And I really appreciate those kind words. Give my man Monkey Chess. Roland Bruisers. He streams on twitch.tv/monkeychess. Exclamation point hosts. He's a very funny guy. He's almost as funny as me, but he's at least a lot stronger. Anyhow, we'll start the games soon in about 5 minutes. Yeah, we're just having some fun here. Let's look at the schedule real quick. Let's pop that one up. We have Division 3 right now, August 7th, where the first 3 rounds will be now. After this round, we're going to have an hour break, chat, before the next rounds start. So please do bear with me. And next week, obviously, Division 2. Then we'll have the top division. And then we'll have quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. Looking very, very interesting for that.
I'm very much looking forward to the 16th of August because that's actually my birthday. And I'm hoping that the Netherlands will give me a nice gift there by qualifying for the top division. So very much looking forward to that, of course.
Ooh, can I sing a birthday song for you right now?
Not right now. It's in the 16th. It's not right here.
All right. Just I'll wait a little bit. August 16th, chat. Make sure to be there. Give him some love. Give him some hype. How old will you be?
How old are you really asking me for my age on stream?
I'm sorry. What is your weight? It's never okay, chat. Pardon me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You're definitely more funny than I am. All right. So, in any case, that's a shout out actually to the Dutch team, of course. Hope they will put on their best game on the 16th. So, yeah.
Exactly. Gear will be playing. They have a very strong lineup. Jordan will be playing. Gear will be playing. I don't know who the other two will be, but they are... they're really popping.
I know the exact lineup. Actually, also Machtel van Verreest is playing, so she's actually a big talent for the Dutch country, potential world champion. Yeah, I dare to say that.
Ooh.
Only 13 years old, and she's got a rating of 2100. So, yeah, very much looking forward to how the Netherlands are going to participate, and also actually a friend of ours, Max Warmerdam, is going to play.
Oh yeah, Max is playing.
Yeah.
That is true. We will be seeing him on August 13th, which I'm also very interested in, which will be the Koeglopers toernooi. Pop Crawlers tournament. We'll be playing out in the open again, drinking some beers, talking some trash. That's where the greatest trash talk happens. There, you were there, Roland.
I was there.
You know what I was talking about against that one guy when we were sitting outside.
Oh, there was this great game that you guys played. You were just trash talking every move and like saying stuff.
Yeah.
Man, do you really want to play that move?
Yeah. He was like, ooh, that's not a good move. It's probably the age. It's probably the age difference that's going on here. It's stuff like that I was telling him. Was an older guy, so it was good stuff. We're gonna start in a few minutes, chat. Do you have any questions before we're gonna start popping off again?
Well, there's a question from Jeff DMK. Why is Roland playing? I'm not playing, so there you go.
No, do remind him. Do remind him of that, chat, please.
Yeah.
Now they only have 2 open boards, and those go to the top 2. If they had 3 open boards, they would have asked Roland. Let's just keep it like that.
Yeah, I'm not even close to being a reserve. No, there are Jordan van Verreest, Anish Giri, Erwin Lamy. Actually, I know these people, of course. They are very strong, much stronger than me. I still have a lot to learn from them. So yeah, I learn from them every day, every time they're playing chess.
Okay.
Yeah, very much looking forward to Division 2. And of course, also the top division, for which they will qualify and give me my birthday present. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. When does Australia play? Let's give a quick look before we're going to start in the game. Let's see if they already played or they haven't played yet. Australia, are they in? Oh, they are in. They'll be playing next week. Division 2. They'll be in pool with Turkey, Hungary, Indonesia, Colombia, Switzerland, and Kyrgyzstan. I practiced these flags yesterday. I still suck. It is what it is. You know, you hate to see it, chat. You hate to see it. All right, let's get into the games. They have already started, or I'm gonna open a Google Maps thing. That's also an idea. You know what? That's also what I can do. Or I'm gonna enter the correct URL, and we're not gonna go to Google Maps, and we're gonna go into the games, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We are off. Is there a matchup you particularly want to see?
Well, we've got a request for Syria versus Singapore, and I agree with that one because Syria currently the number 1 in the standings, and Singapore the number 4, and also the rating favorite. So that would be an interesting.
All right, let's look at their board 1 then, with Ahmed Hamad versus Jingyao Tin.
You're gonna love this. Harry has been pushed.
Harry is going somewhere. Simon is, shouting crazy, being very happy. Simon Williams, everyone. The Gingerbeard is a very advocate of pushing that H pawn. I actually think about creating an account calling Barry the Bishop, because I think the pieces also need some love. Barry the Bishop, Carl the Knight, Roland the Rookie. Hey, Roland the Rook. Let's go.
Big Bishop, also a good one. Big the Bishop.
Ooh. I like it. Let's go for it. Let's scroll through the games a little bit. So we have an international match versus FM. Like I said, these are the top 2 teams. So these are very much the games to look into. They seem to have struck a nerve after knight f6. White is doesn't know what to do anymore.
Would you play g4?
As white? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Absolutely. Let's go. So this is the problem, White. Black hasn't castled yet. Black doesn't have the castle on the king side. So that's a little bit my problem of pushing g4. I'll probably play normal moves like just knight f3, but sometimes you gotta bring the spice in. Let's look at some other games. Let's see if we have an interesting one.
Yeah. What do you think about Big Shop? Isn't that a good one?
Big Shop?
Yeah.
Oh, Big Shop. Ah. It sounds like I'm running like criminal money laundering practice. Like, go to the Big Shop for all your... it's like a Thai massage saloon where it's like a criminal activity in the back. That's what I would be, the Big Shop.
Yeah, like not the thrift shop, but the Big Shop.
Exactly.
By the way, that was a suggestion in the chat from Decelerated Dragon. Nice one.
Besides, you're on my list, buddy. You're on my list. I'm looking at you. So here's the interesting one. Look at it. I don't know. I was very happy, and now I'm not very happy. I mean, I like white. I mean, he has a strong diagonal here, but he cannot push back to g3. It's a little bit of the issue.
Yeah, I think white is better for the moment, at least, after bishop d2. Yeah, white is actually just better. More development. Black still has to play b6 and bishop b7. But after c4, white simply has a space advantage. Should be better for white.
Absolutely. So definitely. So let's look at the rating difference. These are just com rating differences, chat. We can look online. My beautiful co-assistant here, Roland Pruisert.
Are we both assistants?
I'm sorry. My close and trusted business associate will look that up. I was gonna go back to board 1. Did you know what he played?
Yes. Nice, awesome. It's in the spirit. If you play h4, then why not play g4?
Exactly, he's going for it.
Player from Syria is just having a lot of fun, and actually, it's not looking that bad. Just h5 at some point, just bishop g2.
Just bishop g2 here.
Developmentally, it's okay for white.
Double V and Cato. Looking very good. Looking very solid. Crisp and clear, chat. Crisp and clear. Let me go through the games a little bit. Maybe we find some action. Ooh, this looks like a London, where white already has a very nice outpost on h7.
Yeah. That is why they usually don't exchange the bishops on g3. So, yeah, because the h-file could become a potential target for, how do you say, file of action for white. So probably queen c2, maybe g4 at some point.
Exactly.
White has some potential there. Queen
Looking
c2.
very good. Yeah, maybe 95, let's grab a little bit of a... let's grab a momentum. No, not momentum. Intermezzo. A little cheeky move. 95, g5, g4, g5, queen h5. There's a lot of options here. The problem is that the light square bishop is completely blocked off. And with 95, you stop him from entering on the king side.
Yeah, you could play b6 and bishop a6, but but the problem really is the h-file. If that was closed, then black would be more or less okay, I think.
Would you agree with me on this? All right, let's say I go queen c2. He goes b6. Would you hate the idea of king f1? So
no,
you would go here.
Yeah, king g1. I do think you have something stronger with g4 and knight e5, but
absolutely. But
I would not hate that because the king is pretty good, is pretty safely placed on g1.
Because usually you want a castle, but in this instance you don't want a castle, and this one is safer here. So it's a little bit, you don't always have to castle. I do encourage you to castle. Let's be fair, but let's keep her going. This is a. I'm going to look at Japan versus Hong Kong real quick because I see a very nice King's Indian defense. Obviously,
You and your Kings Indians.
gotta mention it. Back to b8. Now this is a very interesting line because usually you want to play a5 here and get the knight to c5. When you push this one back.
There's also a nice difference between in the previous games we saw a pawn on e4 from white.
Yeah.
But now the pawn is on e3. So what is that difference? What does that mean?
Well, you could idea of pushing this pawn here and get the knight to e5 eventually, break open this bishop. So that's what Black is thinking about. Absolutely. Do I push e4? Would you do it?
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I think I would. I think that would disrupt White's play. For example, I think that White wants to push e4, and then the rook on e8 is looking a bit.
So you're saying 100% White has to play e4 here?
Yeah, I think so, because the rook on e8 actually wants to be on f8 to support an f5 break.
Yes.
And also, actually, the position is looking very strange. I think that after e4, White's a few tempi up, because there's, for example, no knight on e7 at the moment. And White already played b3. So after e4, White would have more... Yeah, more a bigger development. Yeah.
At least with pressure on the queen side. Black is saying, well, let's just get the knight over here. Let's feel good about that. So there are a lot of options here, and I do like when there's a lot of options. I do like to see the King's Indian on the board, attack or defense, even though you don't see the attack at all anymore. Tragic, tragic, tragic. Let's go to board 2 of Ireland versus Monaco. We have the GM here, who's almost mating. Where's the mate?
Knight h6. Queen takes h5.
Queen takes h5. Oh, that's the wrong h5. You cannot take, obviously, chat. This is just mate.
You could also just take immediately on h5. That's also good.
I like to check first.
I like knight h6 better. Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about knight takes f7.
Look at these bishops. Holy moly.
Yeah, this didn't go well for Kevin.
Oh,
okay.
We played h5 immediately. We have g6 here.
e6 now.
What about queen h6? If he takes here, you don't have knight f6 because you could just take with the pawn.
It's still winning.
Oh,
yeah,
you have f6 here.
Yeah, but then e takes f6. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, and then you're still going to win it this way.
Yeah.
A lot of ways to win. This is a nice attacking game.
Yeah, looking good.
White is.
White went back to g4, maybe just to play h4, h5 at some point.
Yeah, it's just playing it slow.
Yeah, you have all the time in the world here. You are pawn up. You have the bishop pair, h4, h5, easy plan. Why not just go for it?
Yeah, exactly. It's really hard to defend. This pawn here is an absolute MVP. Since you don't have knight f6, which is imperative in these positions.
Imperative indeed. All right.
Cool. Let's go back to the top voted games. Let's go. This is your h4 g5 game. Black is actually very safe here.
f4 g5 h4. White's having a lot of fun here. I was wondering about e takes f4, but I think you can just take on g7 and then take back on f4. I think black's absolutely better here. More development. No weaknesses on the king's side. The king is much safer. Yeah, they should be better for black somehow.
Yeah, I think you can actually...
f6, I guess?
Yeah, I like the f6 push. You see that a lot in these kind of positions where you push f6 to open up the rook. Usually in the King's Indian, your light square bishop is very annoying to place. You have like 0 squares for it. In this position, I'm a very happy black player. Look at this bishop. He has all the room in the world. d7, you can go here, can go here. Could even go here. Maybe that's not the best one, but looking also, very good.
Positional idea could be knight e7 and knight f5 to try and undermine the h4 pawn.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah,
it's a very good idea.
I mean, it's very slow, so I'm not 100% sure if it's good. For example, white can play e4, but it's an idea to keep in mind, I guess. Yeah, I like f6. f6, just make use of the weak king on the king side and open the f file, try to get some initiative. Looking good for black. I think I like how white played, nicely frivolous, I think. I'm not sure if that is an English word, but
it is now.
nice and playful, and but okay, it's going to backfire, I believe. So
We like it when they fight back, chat. We like it when they fight back. And the second board of Ireland versus our Grandmaster has ended with a very nice idea. You think, oh, but knight g7 saves the day. Gonna lose your queen here. Hate to see it. Actually,
Queen h6.
Queen h6.
Yeah. Made in one of those.
All right. Even better, even better. Why win a queen when you can mate, chat? Easy game, easy life. Let's continue the onslaught. Let's look at this game over here. This looks a little bit spicy.
Looks interesting.
Syria versus Singapore. It is black to move here. What is up with white's kingside pawns?
Yeah, I'm also checking which board this actually is.
This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It seems like this is the women. Board 6. This is board 6.
Yeah, this is board 6. Yeah, so looking good for black. I mean, the pawn on g4 supports the knight on f5, but there's a big gaping hole on f3 now, which black can maybe make use of at some point. Black has more space, active bishop on d3, not a lot of active possibilities for white. Black is in total control, I would say. Just rook a c8, maybe b5, b4, trying to get some pressure going. Maybe h5 at some point, trying to undermine the king side.
Oh, absolutely.
But okay, yeah, looking very, very good for...
Looking fresh. Okay, how about this idea? You go your rook on d8, and then you play your bishop here, so you can actually go to f3 at some point. Or would you say this bishop is so well placed, keep it there?
Well, it's keeping everything nicely under control, and knight d4 was an idea that you have to take into account, because if bishop b2, then knight d4 attacks both the queen on e6 and the bishop on e2.
True story.
Yeah, but now, for example, just queen, what is it, e7? No.
Hold on. All right, hold on. Let's say white plays a silly move. Okay, let's do this. And I'm gonna go for this.
Knight d4.
Hold on, I've already played this, so I'm gonna go like this. you say let's trade this off.
Do you want another move?
Knight d4. And we're gonna take it there.
Okay, knight f3.
And now we're gonna go a little bit aggressive.
Okay, I'll take the knight.
You'll take that?
Queen
Okay,
c7.
and here I would offer a draw. It seems like a very drawish position, so
I would decline.
You would do all right. Anyway, what do you know about chess?
Good
Okay.
try.
A little bit too aggressive. I just like the sacrifice, man. It's just it feels good. Seems good.
Yeah, of course.
Seems good.
But in this case, it's a bit of a pity, because you have total control over the position.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Why not just improve your pieces and make use of the more space that you have as black? So rook a c8, b4 at some point.
So I believe that these queens have been staring each other down. Can do like this for the past 7 moves. They're really refusing to take each other. I actually quite like that. Because you usually don't. If the knight is here, if there's still a knight on b1, you do see a push on c5 usually, where they trade. And if the knight is still on b1 to c3, you can actually start pushing this pawn. Because if you push this pawn, let's say make some silly moves, and you're going to defend here with this one, you cannot actually take back because it's pinned. And this is a very known idea in, let's say, the English, where the queens are traded off.
And the Slav as well.
And the Slav. Absolutely.
I like your mention about the stare down. I'm actually picturing a Once Upon a Time soundtrack behind this, like, you know.
I like it.
You know,
it's good.
Like the old Western movie, two cowboys facing off each other.
Oh.
Yeah, looks nice. But okay,
Turn the sound effects, and I'm dropping my...
Yeah, sound effects, yeah.
My earphones.
Okay, who's better and why? I think white is actually better because of the bishop pair and more space after the e4 pawn is taken. Would you try and protect that pawn with f5? Yeah, that was my question. Would you try and do that?
Absolutely.
I totally agrees there.
Yeah, I think it's a good... I mean, black isn't the worst after, let's say... I think you could just play bishop e7 here. It's not the worst to have your king in the middle, so you can get the rook in. I'm not sure that... You could also... See, the problem is, I don't know where to place the king. Do you keep it in the middle? Do you castle short? Do you castle long?
It
It's very difficult.
Depends where the action is going to be. Like the king wants to be safe, obviously, and with the bishop on g5, it's going to be very hard to get your king to the queen side. But okay, what I'm wondering is what is white going to do?
F3, obviously. I mean, you gotta stay consistent with the weird pawn structure. You mean?
Yeah, that's true. Just put everything on white.
But I don't think it's actually a bad move, F3 here.
Oh, I also don't dislike it. I think what white needs to do is just blow up the position. Yeah, with F3, even if the queens get taken off the board, there's still a lot of potential, especially for the white squared bishop for white's white squared bishop. So, yeah.
What are England's chances? I think England is pretty good. I think Michael Adams and Mickey and Luke McShane are playing. So if you have those two top dogs, you're in a pretty good position. One point, chat. D4 is hanging, but obviously you cannot take, because I will take B7. Look at the rook. Look at mates. Mating ideas, you can still run here, but cannot take that pawn. We actually have 3 results already. We have a win for Singapore. We have a win for Singapore. And we have a win for Singapore. So Singapore should be 3-0 up. I'm saying Singapore? I mean Monaco. Apologies. So 3-0 already for Monaco if those are being approved by the arbiter. So it's a little update. Let's go back to Syria versus Singapore, though. The one that we did mention. We have a look at this game yet.
Oof. White slightly better. Yeah, just because of the active rook on d1 versus the rook on a8. That's all. There is potential with knight f5 ideas, perhaps with potential. Yeah, knight f5 ideas could potentially be very strong. I would like to probably just play this nice and slow with rook fe1 and then knight f5, just trying to take control over the position. White is just slightly better. Black doesn't really have real weaknesses, and for example, an idea for black could be bishop c7, rook a d8, rook fe8. It's going to be a slow game, and maybe, do you see already some tricks? Maybe, for example, knight f5, queen c3, rook takes d7.
Yes, I see trick. You asked. You asked. It's there, chat. Made in 2. Bet you didn't see that.
Yeah.
All right. No, I don't really see. There's no tension. You know, the pawns are on the exact same, even the exact same positions. They still have a very balanced thing. I don't see. I think white has a slight S because this bishop is blocking the rook, so it takes an extra move to get out. And white has a very nice knight here. If this knight was here, I would call it even. But this.
Oh, knight f5 on the board.
Interesting.
Wondering if there are some tricks. No, I don't think there's any trick in the position yet. No, just take and play rook e1. No, not rook e1. Yeah, it's not as easy as you would think, right?
No, it's not that easy. You have to be very careful. So we're gonna see how that one is turning out. Exciting moves, that's for sure. Let's go to the g4, h4, h5. Yeah, let's look at this game again. It's calmed down a little bit, and black seems to have a very solid. Look at the f5 square.
Yep, knight f5 looks very good. Looks yeah. So we mentioned this plan, right, to get a knight to f5 and then attack gh4 pawn. So I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and b4, knight e6. White is pushing pawns, but those are leaving holes in the position here. White does have knight f6 perhaps as a potential idea, but yeah, okay, so black really needs to play knight f5, because if white gets to play knight d5, then the f6 square will be very dangerous for black. So yeah, let's see if black plays knight f5. After that, black should be in the money more or less. Yeah,
and though we do like holes time to time, chat, we don't like him in our position on the chessboard, and this is one of them. If you put b4, if you push b4, we're gonna have holes on a4 and c4, g4. There are a lot of ways black can penetrate white's position, and you have to be very careful about going for that. And especially knight f5 is looking at h4 here, so we're gonna see how that's going. Very well worded, very nicely worded. Moving on. Let's look at the other matches we haven't looked at just yet. Let's look at Japan versus Hong Kong. It does look white is a very good position here.
Yeah, there's.
You okay there,
How
buddy?
many?
You need a drink?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I just heard a really funny joke. That's all. Okay, so yeah, black is 3 pawns down, and it is yeah, way too much. Black does not have enough compensation for those. The A pawn is going to travel all the way across the country towards A8, and yeah, queening at some point. So white is just clearly better. And with F4, a move that I also like, removing all counterplay on the king side, white's just in the money. Yeah. So
In the
Japan
money.
versus Hong Kong versus that's not Hong Kong. Yeah, that
It
is
is Hong Kong. Yeah.
So that is looking good for Japan.
Looking for Japan. Doing it well. Ooh, this one was good. This is the stare down that we had a few moves ago. After bishop g5, f5, a white castled long, black says, now is my time to take because there's no more rook on a1 barreling down the board. And now we have a breakthrough in the center. And I do like black. Look at these pawns.
I was going to say the same, but if you move the f pawn, then the e4 pawn is going to be really weak. So yeah, it has its benefits, but also has its drawbacks here. Bishop d2, yeah. Now you have a problem with the f5 pawn. So
Is after g6, is it really? Because I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get my rook over here.
That's correct. Yeah, g6 and black is, well, material is equal, but those pawns are going to be a thorn in white's eye for the moment, at least. Yeah, I agree. I think black is doing okay here.
Also, which you have to keep in mind, I can even play knight c5 here because you're attacking b3. And you're looking at d3 with check to go to f2.
Yeah, that's
Look at that multifunctional move. Oof.
Yeah, looking nice.
Looking very good for... I actually want to keep on this. I want to see if they play g6 or knight c5. Knight c5 seems so crushing. I must be missing something. What does white play after knight c5?
Well, g takes f5 is met by knight d3 and knight takes f2, so that would mean material. I guess king c2 then.
Yeah, but then they have rook c8. It looks so...
Then bishop c3.
Yeah.
Keeping everything together so far.
So far, so good.
Maybe I can now take on f5.
Yeah, I'm taking f2, right?
And then I'm going to play d6.
So after this?
Yeah, taking on f5, knight takes f2, and d6.
d6. All right.
I'm wondering if that's good for white, because if you take on h1, for example, you have d7 check. And if you take on d1, then rook takes d1, and you have d takes e7 and d7 as a threat. So
yeah, that's very good. Wow.
It looks like white has ways to counter that, at least.
All right, g6 has been played.
Yeah, d6 looks like the better option. I mean, keeping the structure, now play bishop d6 and knight c5 next move. Yeah, black is in the money.
Back, you're not supposed to clip that.
Max, that was what I was laughing about.
Oh god, dude. All right, let's not play that back on stream.
Nice.
Let's go back to the track, and I want to see the top board. It's my responsibility. All right, fair. We're gonna have to talk after this, Max. We're gonna have a serious talk. Max, everyone, the greatest mod, or is he? So there's someone asking, Alex the Beast asked why are there lower rated boards on the lower boards. Let's go through the final formats real quick. So this is the Olympiad. For those who just tuning in, it's a worldwide event. 163 teams, over 1,500 players. And the teams on each pool will have a single round robin with players against their corresponding boards. So board 1 will play board 1, board 2 will play board 2, etc, etc. And to answer your question, each team features 2 open boards, 2 women boards, 1 junior male board, and 1 junior female board. So there's a lot of variety in the mix. It's a little bit like the PCL, the Pro Chess League. They also had like a rating cap, so they actually had to find some young talents in there to really see if you could get around. So good stuff today. Good stuff.
So some countries don't have a high rated youngster, for example, or a high rated female youngster. That is why you sometimes see low ratings on the board. And actually, also, these are Chess.com ratings. These are not the official FIDE ratings. If you want to see the FIDE ratings, then take a look at the link that we are going to share right now in the chat. So for more information and on the ratings, you can take a look on that website. And yeah, we're of course going to also mention the ratings if that is something that is interesting. So
Look at my boy Roland really showing the crowd how to. You could be a teacher. Are you a good coach? I think you're a good. I think you're a good chess coach. I feel inspired already.
I've offered to coach you for quite some time, Vic. Like there are lots of ways for you to improve now.
I like to save your time. I'm not worth it, chat. Not worth it. The only thing I'm good at is trash talking. I can coach you. That's something.
You are a coach. I've heard some good stories from students.
Good stories, absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's look at this position real quick. I love black. Don't take that out of context as well, but I do love black's position here. It is incredibly well placed. If you get your knight to g3, bishop to g4, and get like your knight. I mean, the knight is already so good on f5. Never mind. I don't even need to play. Look at the time.
I just want to grab every pawn. Bishop takes d4, knight takes h4. Just grab everything and win, because every piece, none of white's pieces are doing anything. The pawn structures are destroyed.
Yeah, thank you.
Bishop takes d4, knight takes h4, and black's winning. There's nothing going on. Just a few pawns up for black. The better pieces.
I think white would be better if this pawn didn't exist.
Well,
but still.
Wherever you place that pawn, I think black.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I think black's still better. Yeah.
You sure about that? If I put it there on c3.
Then I'll take the pawn on h4.
Yeah, then I'll take the pawn on d5.
And then I'll take the bishop on g2.
And then I'll check you. Oh no, that doesn't work.
Then I'll take.
All right, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. All right, so there's a very good. It seems like a very good position for Singapore's board one. This is going to be a rough game for sure. Yeah, going to take an h4, and this should be over Land Rover. We will take you down. All right. Let's look at, there's a massacre between Ireland and Monaco. I think there's only one board remaining, and I think all the other boards, Monaco has won, so they're really bouncing back in that position. So we're going to see that, chat. We're going to see that later once the arbiters have set their thing. For now, we're going to go back to this board where exciting stuff is happening. Exciting stuff is happening. So the center is still in control of black. The king has moved around. I think white definitely has pulled back in his chances. I think he's actually doing quite fine. Who do you like here?
I like black always. Why? Because well, there are much more weaknesses. I mean, black has every pawn nicely next to each other. A nice pawn on a7 and on b7. While white's pawns are all scattered throughout the board, so those are easy targets for black to make use of. So, and in this position, black's already threatening knight takes d5 and rook takes h4. So that would mean winning material for black. And after knight takes d5 at some point, also the b4 pawn.
Don't do it now. Don't do it now.
Yeah, don't do it now, obviously. But yeah, I mean, rook takes h4, simply winning a pawn should be very much for.
You're going to push this one up. You're going to take this pawn. This knight will find his way to f4, which is also very strong. Or he's going to stay there and support e3 pushes.
Rook h2, the f2 pawn is going to become a target at some point. No, this is looking absolutely wonderful for black. Yeah.
Good stuff. And the time advantage. Tadal Hilvani is playing very good. Syria is definitely looking good on this board. And it seems like board one has finished. Seems like black did win. Surely there's a mate somewhere here. We sacrificed a rook here. Very nice.
Yeah, very nice finish there. Oh, there might be a mate, but knight e3 after king g2 simply wins the queen.
Yeah, okay. There's this one here. Woa pointed out. But if you go here, maybe there's... Oh, no. I mean, you play here. Let's check anyway, so...
King g2, bishop h3.
Yeah, or just queen g4 mate.
Or now it's already made, queen g4. Nice.
So, good game there. Let's go back to this one real quick. We have some time trouble on white side here.
What's happening here? So black's a pawn up.
It's
So
gonna be a
white's
draw.
got the activity here. If, for example,
Oh,
king g1.
I was for sure that white's gonna go for a draw here.
I wasn't. The knight on g2 is trapped actually.
Interesting.
So what about knight e4 and rook e7? Why? Oh, knight b5. I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, so black wants to get the knight back into the game, but after rook e6, for example,
Yeah.
knight d6 is coming. I
Knight
think
d6
black
check.
needs to sacrifice that thing. Needs to play rook b2 perhaps, and rook takes b3, because otherwise white's just going to
Grab all the
snack
pawns.
a lot of pawns.
Yeah. It's a great deduction, my friend. Great deduction.
h5, h4 is still an idea for black. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then start pushing to defend here or to trade here.
Yeah, exactly.
Not too bad. Okay, so you have to run.
Would you play knight e8 here?
I think 98 is very good.
Knight takes f6, but after knight takes f6, black can play knight e3. So I'm not sure you should take there. Okay.
Or yeah, 93 or 91 was possible here.
But after h4, yeah, knight e4 looks very strong with knight g5 on the next move. No, this is not looking good. Black needed to play knight e3 there. After knight g5.
Yeah. Let's show it real quick. After this move, you can either play knight e1 or knight e3, and if you grab this, one back.
Yeah,
and now black is better here.
Yeah, now black has chances here. Yeah. So knight e3, the idea is that f5 was under attack, and now white can simply start pushing that pawn, f6, f7, and winning.
Seems very good for white. Yeah.
So
I was giving. Why is he giving black the?
No, but
the out.
Why
would you do that?
Yeah, now it's okay again. Now f6, f7 is not possible anymore, and knight takes f5 is in position.
That was so unnecessary.
That was, yeah, not good.
No bueno.
If f6, rook g2, so rook f6, now king g7.
Yeah, king g7.
I think black's taking
Oh, he's gonna lose the pawn.
Yeah, rook f7 check, king h6, knight goes.
She's gonna lose the pawn. Oh, you hate to see it, chat.
I think black. Oh wait, what? Rook e2.
Oh yeah, just attack the pony.
Yeah, rook e2, rook e6, knight takes f5.
Uh-oh.
Wait, knight f3. Rook e6, knight f3 wins. King f1, rook.
Yeah. Knight f3.
Knight f3 wins.
Oh no, we have to show that. Knight f3 check. Obviously, if they go here, it is a mate. If they go to f1, you can actually take here. Puzzle rush, baby. Give me that rook.
That was so unfortunate.
That was a nice find, dude. That was a nice find.
Thanks.
Good stuff.
So wait, this is actually, I think this is the, which board is this?
This is board 6 for Syria.
This is board 4 actually. Sorry to correct you there. Yeah,
Bad,
board
man.
4.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah, but this would be a big upset if black won. I mean, there's a big rating difference, as you can also see on the Chess.com ratings.
Well, what are their ratings?
Yeah, the ratings are 1704 for black and 2065 for white. So that's 361 rating difference.
Ouch. I'm gonna see it. Let's see if we can get an upset. I always like it. Look at this pawn, dude. Black's playing very fast and very well.
Yeah.
Doing very good, chat. Doing very good. Let's start with the run. Running down the board, eh?
Yeah, like Forrest Gump. Yeah.
Like Forrest Gump. Just king e7 or king g7 seems both fine.
But a3, knight c2, rook b2, a2 looks more or less over.
Yeah, this
I
is.
don't see,
Nope. Let's keep running. So she wants to put a rook on a8, which is very understandable. But black, I think, will put knight c6 to a5. Let's show this real quick. So knight c6, make a silly move, knight a5, and we block this rook, and we could keep running.
Yep. And after knight takes c5, we have a nice trick there, but okay. Never mind. Rook b2, a2, rook, knight c2. That was the idea that I was proposing.
Yeah, knight
Also
c2.
good.
And,
knight a5, also good idea, by the way. This looks
you can even
clean
promote
as
right
well.
now.
Nicely done. Big upset. Big upset.
Absolutely.
Really? Knight c2.
Does
wait,
knight
knight
c2
c2
right
doesn't-
now? Does that work right now? King c3?
Oh. Yeah, wait. So how does...
I think you have to get the rook out first. Let's go here. And then you play this. Because if he takes, you now have this little checkaroonie.
And after king c3?
So here, it's a king c3. It's a good question.
It's not that easy still.
But you don't have... Okay, then you go back here.
Yeah.
I would just go knight c6 and go knight a5. I mean...
After rook a3 or rook a4?
Rook a3? Well, then you can go rook h3.
Yeah, rook a4 in that case.
Rook h4
Now,
is your final.
knight b4,
Knight b4,
rook
yeah, and then you go here. Okay. So
Yeah,
it's... You have to... We have to go back to my idea. You see, Roland? You see knight c6?
It still wasn't winning, but it was a good idea.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Give me the creds. Give me the creds. Yeah, this should be... You can still go knight here, or a5, and then place your rook here. Because if he takes, you can take back and promote. So...
Yeah, correct. b5 looks also very clean, actually. Yeah. All right, looking good for black, and also white is in huge time trouble, by the way.
Oh, that's very good to point out. I don't see the necessity of pushing b5. It's a little bit weird.
Well, it's just an extra move.
It's not too shabby, but...
You
can just go king c1 here, because you will lose your knight.
Yeah, exactly. So now...
Maybe knight b3?
Oh, that's a nice one. Yeah, knight b3 works. Or knight c2, actually, same idea.
Yeah, same idea. Knight c2 as well. Knight b3, come on. Do it for me.
Do it for you. Yeah,
do it for the big. Oh, feels good, man. Max, thank you for being in the chat, answering the chat. I'm also rushing the chat, ladies and gentlemen. So don't be naughty. Rook b3 is popping out here. Maybe just b4 and rook a3. I feel like don't go rook b3. Don't get us another draw like this.
No. Come on. Knight c2, knight b3.
Literally everything is winning here.
No, not that much actually.
Actually, knight c2, you have a check here, and then you have king c3 again.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. So knight b3 is actually the
knight b3 should be better. Maybe I'm still missing something. Is this the same thing? No, you have rook b1 here, so you should be good.
Exactly.
Because if you take here now, well, actually you don't. You can take there. It's
b4 and knight c1. Okay, no, it's still not good.
It's not that easy.
Wow, this is more complicated than you would say. It's like we're struggling a little bit here, yeah.
All right, we're feeling. We're gonna stay on this game, chat. I think this is really interesting. She lost a pawn,
but a nice pawn on b4, controlling everything.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Just get the king in there. Just move the king closer. The king on e7 is not doing anything. So let's move it closer.
It's actually the last game of the round. Hold on. We
Nice.
always pick the game when it's the last one of the round. It's happened 3 times now. All 3 times we had the last game that was the... And we followed it for a longer time, so... What are you gonna think, chat? Is this gonna be a draw? Is this gonna be a win? Is it gonna be a loss? Who do you think is gonna be the winner? Chicken dinner. We do see Monaco winning already. Those results are in. We see Albania winning 4-2. So...
Rook a3? No.
Oh no, this isn't... You can never win this anymore.
Well, this is safe. It's not a bad idea, but it might be...
Are you gonna defend this pawn?
I'm not sure how black's going to win this. The king needs to come closer now.
Can I just play knight before?
No, you
Then you
take
can play knight before. Yeah, you can play knight before.
So the knight's gonna go to d3, and then how's black going to win this?
Yeah, just gonna
I think
walk out.
I think a good idea is knight c6, knight b4. But if knight c6, then king b3, so that doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, this looks like a draw. This looks like
just
a draw.
knight b3 here?
Knight b3.
Is that easy? Or do you...
Knight b3. You do have to account for knight takes b3. I'm not sure how the pawn ending is.
Let's see.
King takes, king d6. King e5, king a4, king e4. Exclamation point.
King a5?
King d3.
Oh, okay, not that. So...
Yeah, and black is winning. So the pawn ending is winning for black.
What if I go to a3?
King d3.
Well, because if the king d3, I go king b2, and I put you in Zogswang.
Ah, that's true.
Opposition.
Very nice, very nice. Very nice, monsieur.
Yeah, I know my oppositions. This is a draw as well, so I'm not sure if this is... Maybe it holds?
No, maybe it holds, yeah. Maybe it holds.
Because you can never take here and not me having the opposition. Never mind, we'll...
Yeah,
that's a study for another time.
I think it's a draw still, yeah.
Yeah, there it is, there it is!
Oh, it's on the board? Are you kidding me?
Triangulation, let's go! Let's go!
Oh my god, oh my god.
You can clip that, buddy. Yo, Max, where's the clip now? Where's the clip now, eh?
How can you... Oh my god.
Look at that. Look at that. We have a draw here.
Nice, big.
Opposition is it's quite something, chat. It's quite something. You can never win this with black anymore, so they're gonna play this out till a draw. What a crazy ending! Wow.
Yeah, and actually, this is how do you say, critical for the match, because the match standings is currently 2.5. So
yeah,
this saves Singapore a match point. So it's 1-1. It's 3-3. So both get a match point there.
That is actually crazy. I mean, so this result still has to be verified, chat. But I think we can look at the standings already. No, those aren't updated yet, so we're gonna wait for that just a little tad longer. Or are they updated? They are updated. No, they're not. Monaco is still at the bottom. So we're gonna wait for that just yet. But wow, what a crazy game! That I mean, yeah. That's a nice opposition. That she saw that so quickly was.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Really
because
impressive.
She also had like not a lot of time on the board. That's
yeah, that was really nice. I'm not sure why she just blew it. I mean, black really blew it. Unfortunately, wasn't that easy. Let's not make it put it down there. But I really think that in this position right here, instead of pushing b5, she should have just gone for this knight c6 to knight b4 or knight a5. Because if you play this, you have to actually play rook a4.
Then knight b4.
And then knight b4. And then you go here on the second move. And then it should be over.
You have rook b2. Rook b1 is knight takes a2, by the way. But
oh, knight takes... okay, that's true. So maybe...
Yeah. After king d2, just play rook b2. Get the king closer. Actually, there are also tricks, I think.
Yeah, you cannot go here.
Yeah, no, this already wins. King c1, rook c2, king e3, a1 queen, knight c2.
Yeah, then you go here, and then you have to double.
This looks winning. King d1.
Oh, this is already lost, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I was really a big advocate on this position to just get the knight over here and not even bother with the rest and start running. Yeah. But it's
exactly.
It is a difficult one. So we have the final results in. Ireland did lose to Monaco 4-2. Syria and Singapore battled it out with a very exciting match, 3-3. Very nice ending there. Hong Kong and Japan. Japan win with a point extra. Very interesting. Malaysia wins from South Korea. And Albania stings New Zealand. Everything is large with him. I can... that is true. That is true. I mean, I don't think it's... I should show everything. But it's going really well, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk a little bit. So we're going to have an hour break after this, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in an hour and 15 minutes. But we're going to show the standings in just a bit. Let's look at the format just one more time. So we have 163 teams. We're now, this is week number 3, I believe.
Yeah, week number 3.
Division 5 and Division 4 are already done. So there are the stages that we have 12 teams in the top division with a co-duel after that. Time control 15 minutes and 5 seconds. Scoring, you win, you get 2 points. Draw, you get a 1 point, and a loss, you get a big fat 0. Now let's look at the teams that we have in the division today. Very exciting that we have going on. A lot of action going on later. The IPCA, by the way, is the international... Oh my god, I knew this one. The international thing for disabled chess association. I don't know what the P stands for.
Yeah, physically disabled chess
Physically disabled chess association. International physically disabled chess association will also make their appearance. today. So good stuff, man. Good stuff that we have going on. Let's look at the schedule again real quick. We're going to talk here through till we get standings, and then we will see you again shortly, chat. Don't worry about it. This is Division 3. Obviously, we have 3 rounds in each pool today. So there will be 11 hours of some funky stuff going on, chat. Some funky stuff going on. So definitely good stuff. Definitely good stuff. You want to talk a little... We haven't touched on this yet, Roland. We haven't touched on this yet. Could you talk a little bit about the tie breaks? Let's say we have 2 teams at the... top.
All right, so yeah, the tie breaks. Well, first, of course, it's match points. Like you can see, we have a very nice card for everyone if you are interested in this. And then you have game points. So yeah, 1 point for each game won, and a half point for each drawn. Well, that makes a lot of sense, of course. And then match point totals in the results between the teams, which remain tied. And then, of course, game point totals and the results between the teams, which remain tied. So, yeah, this is actually kind of hard to explain. But first, match points, then game points, and then, yeah, the results of your opposition, I believe. Yeah, like, and of course, there's also, I think, it was explained to me that also the individual results between the teams are also a part of it.
Yeah, we're gonna. So that's our card number 2. We got that ready. The individual results. I think it is. I think so. Let's go to the Armageddon with a little bit more info about that.
Yeah, actually, points C and D are about the results between the teams. So yeah, right. Then the Armageddon game. Here you go. Very nice card. A lot of things to take in. I know.
We have to go back to the games, by the way. Some of the participants both started 10 minutes late, so they didn't show up on a relay. I do have them up right now, chat. So let's look at the final game. This is Pool A, I believe. Or is this already Pool B?
It seems that this is Pool B.
This is Pool B. We're going to have a glimpse of Pool B, chat. We're going to have a glimpse of Pool B. I do love to spoil you. You know, that's what I do. So this is, I believe, B1. We're gonna take a quick look of what's going on in B already. So the round 3 of A and the round 3 of B start at the same time. We can only cover the A ones, unfortunately. So let's look at the B1 real quick. This is the final game of them. We see Angola and Scotland. 3.5, 2.5 for Scotland. The IPCA 5-1. That's quite interesting. Portugal, Tajikistan for the 2. Botswana, Nigeria. It's a 5-0 beatdown. And Chinese Taipei versus Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka seems to have a good result coming in.
About Nigeria, we have some information on that. It was actually 5 forfeits from the Nigeria team. So that is why Botswana is now 5-0 up. And this is the only game that was actually played between the match. So. And as it looks, it's going to be a 6-0 for Botswana in this match. So yeah, 5 forfeits, unfortunately. There are lots of reasons for that. Sometimes a disconnection or some internet problems in the country. We've seen that in the previous divisions as well sometimes. So yeah, internet problems, disconnection problems. We've all seen it before. So yeah, that is why we sometimes have some forfeits in certain games.
Yeah, hate to see it.
Yeah, unfortunately for Nigeria. I actually had Nigeria as one of the
Wait. This is a draw, right?
Oh, what? Wait, Black just sacrificed the bishop?
I think sacrificing is a big word. Oh yeah, Black did sacrifice the bishop. I think that's a little bit too early. I think he should just pull it to e3.
You could play bishop e3 and bishop e4, and then everything's protected, I think.
And you're all good, and you're going to start marching these pawns. That's
That was very premature.
Yeah, okay. And now you can never get it anymore. The very nice finish. All right.
So, yeah, the honor has been saved in this match. So, half a point, no 6-0 beatdown. It's 5.5.
We saved it. Board number 6 is this, I believe?
Yeah, board number 6.
This board number 6, correct. All right. Look at that, chat. You hate to see it, but you love to see this. The engine will give black a small edge, but there's no way for black to start pushing this. I don't know why black just doesn't push this already. Make this a draw. And there we go. Alright, so this is going to be an ending. I can show, ladies and gentlemen, if you want me, chat, if you ask me nicely, I can show you the standings in Pool A. Would you like me to see? But I want you to ask me nicely. You know, we work hard for this in the burning sun. I think
I'm going to ask on behalf of the chat. Let's see the standings. Can we see the standings?
No. I think we need some appreciation. No, we don't want it. Wow, chat.
Oh, okay,
Chat.
okay.
So cringe. You're being cringe, chat. Stop being cringe. All right, let's go to the standings that we have over here, ladies and gentlemen. Of Pool A, Albania taking the lead with 6 points. Is now the only one in the lead. Syria is now 5, and Malaysia is 3rd with 4 points. That was hard for me to pronounce for some reason. Don't know why. Don't ask. So this pool is done for today. We're now going to go to Pool B. See how they are doing. C and D and E will be later today. Don't worry about it. Lots of more action. Am I forgetting something? I don't think we're forgetting something. Hold on.
I also don't think we're forgetting something. No. Yeah, so I guess this is it for Pool A. We'll be back after, I guess we're going to take our long first break of today. And after that, we will be back with Pool B for more action, more nice games, interesting games in this Olympiad of 2020. So
Absolutely. So take a break, take a shower, get some ice cream. Be back in an hour, and we will be back for round 2 of Pool B. C, D, and E will follow up later today, but we're going to have an amazing time. We're your host, Roland Pruisers and Wouter Bik, and we will see you in an hour. Take care, chat. Much love.